From Securities and Exchange Commission, we have
Teka, sorry. Where's Attorney RJ Lim? Oh, there we
I'm here,
go.
Madam
Okay,
Chair.
I got it. Attorney Uson. Thank you. Okay, I got it. Okay. Sige.
from the Securities and Exchange Commission.
SEC.
Yes, Attorney Aljan M. Lacanaria
Okay, thank you.
and Attorney Andrew W. Montesa.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Salamat.
From Miru Systems Company Limited, we have
Okay.
Chung Jin Bok,
Song Ray. Okay.
Cho Sangre.
Yeah.
Lee Salkichan,
Oo nga.
Lim Ernani,
Oo nga. Ewan ko. Yan lang mukha.
from PLDT and Smart, Attorney Roy Ibay.
Hang on. Walang representative yung St. Timothy.
Madam Chair, I will be representing the joint venture. I'm from ICS and I will be representing the 3 local companies.
Yes, but it's in our interest to speak to each of the companies individually. You can answer on behalf of Miss Opaline Python.
Yes, Madam Chair.
You're certain? Okay.
From PLDT Smart, we have
But you are actually the lawyer of Miru.
I'm not a lawyer, Madam Chair. I'm sorry.
Ernani Lim. So you
I represent.
understand that what you say in a Senate hearing will be binding
Yes,
upon the
Madam Chair.
principles that you allegedly represent.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, do we have any assurance that you in fact represent all these other companies? Napakarami po niyan.
Not on paper. Wala po akong hawak na paper that says, but in our meeting.
I'm sorry, I can't take your word for it. So, what shall we do? Walang representante lahat? So, St. Timothy is not represented. Neither is the other group. The other 2 groups, wala rin.
Ako po yung sa integrated computer systems.
Yun na nga, isa lang di ba?
Opo.
Tatlo yun
Wala po yung sa St. Timothy
Okay.
at saka po sa Centerpoint.
Yeah, kaya nga. So, but you're saying, sasagutin mo para sa kanila. Mamaya itakwil ka, di ba? Sasabihin nila, hindi, nagsasagot lang yan.
For those matters po that will require their answer, maybe, Madam Chair, I cannot answer
Well,
that.
thank you. That's a far more prudent assertion. Thank you. So, St. Timothy absent.
no representative,
Okay,
ma'am.
sige. Yung
But we sent an
sumunod,
invite.
Professor Manhit, where are you? Wala.
Not yet present,
Okay,
ma'am.
fine.
From Globe, not yet present.
Not yet, but
Not yet.
they're sending someone.
No response, ma'am.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
PLDT.
PLDT Smart, we have Attorney Roy Ibay.
Okay.
From Lente, we have Attorney Rona Caritos.
Where's Rona? There we go. Okay.
No response from Liga ng mga Barangay when we sent the invite. From NAMFREL, we have Mr. Angel S. Averia Jr. virtually attending.
So, okay. Yes, carry on. Okay. Where are they?
The Philippine Computer Society.
Namprel, are you online? Sorry. Are you online? Pwede magpakita po. Lito Averia, nakikita ko yung frame mo pero wala namang muka. Oh, there we go. All right. Eric Alvia.
Eric Alvia.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We're present virtually.
Thank you. And we also herewith recognize and acknowledge the presence of Senator Francis Tolentino. Okay, Philippine Computer Society.
They sent their regrets, but
Okay.
they sent a position paper, ma'am.
Right.
PPCRV, no response yet, ma'am, as of this
Okay.
moment. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, I'd like to announce the agenda for the hearing. There is no specific bill to which we refer, instead of which we are scheduling for today's hearing a number of issues that have arisen of great national interest and concern. Procurement systems and providers for the 2025 national and local election, the rules on election and campaign periods, because there appears to be some change, the holding of a plebiscite simultaneously with the 2025 national and local elections, and the preparations for the 2025 barangay and SK elections. So pursuant to Section 2, Senate Resolution 5 on the Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation, the committee initiated this inquiry in order to determine the status of the preparations for two major electoral exercises to be held in 2025. First, the national and local elections, and thereafter the barangay and SK elections. Through this public hearing, it is the committee's goal to check on the proper safeguards that have been put in place, and whether laws may be enacted in order to ensure that next year's electoral processes will not be tarnished by allegations of cheating and fraud. There is also the issue of holding a plebiscite simultaneously with the 2025 national and local elections. There are views that the plebiscite should be held independently of such an election. So should there be an enabling law for this? Let us hear from the COMELEC and from the other resource persons to enlighten this committee. And may I likewise remind the resource persons to be aware of the time. We do have session at 3 o'clock, but because of the urgency of the matters at hand, we determined to hold a hearing quickly today. So please be aware of our time constraints and the proper decorum required in a Senate hearing. And with that, we'd like to acknowledge and recognize Senator Tolentino for any opening remarks.
No opening remarks, Madam Chair, just a brief interjection that perhaps part of the proceedings today should be a privileged speech rendered last night and referred to this committee last night. Likewise, the committee chair should, the secretariat should likewise take note of that and secure a copy of that. I think that was Senator Ontiveros at around 7:45 p.m.
That's correct. That's correct. Yes, I think that was not entered that's correct. Yes, thank you very much for that inclusion, Senator Talentina. Senator Ontiveros did in fact send out a privileged speech referred yesterday, and we should have rightly included it in the agenda. Nevertheless, it touches upon on the self-same matters already indicated. So before we begin, can the Legislative Committee Secretary administer the oath to all resource persons here present?
Kindly stand up. Okay. And raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, in this proceeding. Thank you. You may sit down.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm a little bit concerned. Perhaps we defer the matters on the budget. Will there be a DBM person coming?
They sent their regrets, ma'am.
They
won't
sent their
be able
regrets.
to attend.
Also, we have the GPPB in case of any question regarding bids and awards, right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. So let me start with the 2025 NLE budget. Under the 2024 GAA, the total budget for the preparatory activities of the upcoming 2025 national and local elections is 23.903 billion. How much of this budget has already been obligated? We are now almost done with the first quarter. Yes, I invite the chairman of COMELEC to inform us, please. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. As far as the commission is concerned, we already obligated 15,694,703 for the
That's
machines.
15 million.
Yeah, 15 billion, Madam Chair. 15,694,703 pesos for laptops, printers, software, and servers. 198,689,440 for ballot printing, ballot paper, and ballot verification. 1,606,685.
I'm sorry, the 198 billion was for what?
laptops, Madam Chair, printers, software, and servers.
Yung una, yung 15 billion.
15,694,694,703,000.
Where did that go?
That's for the rental of the ACM and other
Okay.
with peripherals and consumables. And Madam Chair, for
Then
ballot
you had the 1 billion.
1,606,685,000. That's for ballot printing, ballot paper, and ballot verification.
Right.
And Madam Chair, for ballot boxes, 488,799,978. A total amount of 17,988,878,000, Madam Chair.
So all of this has been obligated.
Yes, Madam Chair, when we issued a notice of award to Amiru system, because we bundled all of these items to one, except the transmission, Madam Chair.
Yes, all right. Will there be a shortfall in the 23.9 billion, given that there was an addition of the 14.2 billion under the item labeled Conduct and Supervision of Elections, Referenda, Recall, and Plebiscites? Remember that the said 12 billion was added to this item during BICAM and never occurred in any of our subcommittee or committee and plenary hearings on the budget of JAA 2024.
Your Honor, Madam Chair, as far as the comment is concerned, it would appear that the budget that we have right now, or that is contained in the General Appropriations Act of 2024, is enough. The 12 billion, which was added to the commission, rightly, as correctly pointed out by the Honorable Chair, was included in the item other election preparation, plebiscite, but we intend to use that on certain items which were removed from the original proposal of the commission, such as, Madam Chair, the education information campaign, of which zero budget was given to the commission, such as likewise the improvement of our.
Will this not be considered misaligning, considering that you have a separate budget specifically to do with the national and local election, at ito hiwalay?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Hindi ba malversation na naman yan kapag palipat-lipat yung mga purposes ng ating pondo?
Mukha po, Madam Chair, with due respect, the COMELEC is authorized as a independent constitutional body to realign certain items. But however, that will still fall, Madam Chair, under the item election preparation. We will not use that in any other purpose, for any other purpose except election preparation.
But you have a separate item, di ba? Hiwalay yun, yung 2.2 na original na nandun sa umpisa pa lang. Tapos nadagdagan ng 12, ano? So I'm just curious, dahil meron na siyang hiwalay for the preparations, biglang gagamitin na naman sa preparations yung isa, parang magulo yata.
Madam Chair, such as for example, the hiring of election casuals. Tinanggal din po kasi doon sa original proposal ng commission when it was submitted to the executive department, and likewise natanggalin din po kami for the overtime, and likewise that there will be additional 1 billion for the transmission of the results, kasi po yung nabigay lang sa aming budget for the transmission was only about 400 million, and yung aming pong automated biometric identification system, Madam Chair.
No, just by way of orderly accounting and budgeting, can you actually use this 14.2 billion, or at least part thereof, for this year's procurement? To my mind, you may be required to declare them first as savings and only thereafter tap them for 2025 NLE.
Madam Chair,
Kasi parang palipat-lipat yan eh. Dedeklara muna na nag-save ka nung 14.2, hindi ba? Hindi pwedeng gamitin sa miski saan.
Madam.
Sorry.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Because it's already included in the GAA for 2024, and although it is included in that item of other election preparation, it would really appear from our interpretation, Madam Chair, that we can utilize such budget for purposes of supplementing whatever is lacking in the original budget as approved, as recommended by the Senate and the House of Representatives, Madam Chair.
Perhaps COA and DBM will not be so liberal in their interpretation. If you read the line item. There is nothing about election preparations. It says instead conduct and supervision of elections. So yung ginagawa ninyo, preparation for election, which of course you need to do, but the question arises, it doesn't fall squarely under the use for said funds.
Yeah, yes, Madam Chair, it would, with all due respect, again, Madam Chair, it would really fall under the conduct and supervision of the election. And that's
Conduct and supervision appears to refer to ongoing elections. It doesn't refer to activities pre-election. So perhaps it would be more prudent to first declare savings at which you can proceed with these.
Your Honor, if we will,
Kasi palipat-lipat tayo ng pondo at hindi maliliit na pondo to, 14.2 billion is highly significant, particularly today under the strange circumstances of our national treasury.
yes, Madam Chair, we already submitted to this committee the list by which we are going to spend the 12 billion pesos, Madam Chair. And if we are, the suggestion really of declaring first the savings, a very good suggestion, Madam Chair. However, once it's subject to the requirement on savings, then, Madam Chair, we can dispose that budget in anything that we would like to spend, not unlike the presently where there are items, Madam Chair, in the approved budget of the commission, which were removed and given a zero budget, Madam Chair, such as the
Yes, because of the removal of the item for hiring and the other preparations, regardless of the removal of those, we have to hew strictly to the purpose on the line item, which is conduct and supervision. At this juncture, I don't think ballot printing and verification, the acquisition of laptops, constitute conduct and supervision. They are preparatory and they are legitimate, no doubt. But I have very serious concerns about the transfers of funds like this. Yes, Senator Tolentino, please.
Madam Chair, is the chair trying to not imply, but stating categorically that in an election period, there are three stages: the preparatory, the conduct, and the post-election period. So is the chairperson implying that the second stage is the one involved in this budgetary allocation, or is it the entire process as being expounded by the good chairman? So which is which?
Yes, thank you very much, Senator Tolentino. It's exactly what I'm saying, po. That the line item is very clear that it's the conduct and supervision and not preparatory pre-election activities that is
yung mga items like the lease ng machines, the laptops, the ballot printing, ballot boxes, hindi po yun, Madam Chair, sa 12 billion. Yung po, Madam Chair, ay doon sa 23 billion as mentioned by the Honorable Chairperson. Yun na po yung nakasama na, hindi pa po yung 12 billion. Wala pa po kami nagagamit, Madam Chair, sa 12 billion pesos.
all right. Okay. So the 12 billion that was added, has any of this been obligated?
Wala pa po, Madam Chair.
So the 12 billion is intact.
That's right,
What
Madam
is
Chair.
the intent? What will you use to what do you intend to do with the 12 billion that was added during BICAM?
Madam Chair, as we submitted to the committee, and we will resubmit to the committee, Madam Chair, kasama po doon yung the additional 1 billion for the transmission of the results, because doon po sa na-approve na budget sa amin, Madam Chair, almost 400 million lang po yung nabigay sa transmission. The transmission of the results will cost almost 1.4 billion pesos. Number two, Madam Chair, we intend that to use really for the, as mentioned by yours truly, Madam Chair, yung pong overtime namin from here on until the election and even after the election, wala rin po kasi. Education and the information campaign, zero din po yung binigay na budget sa amin kasi, Madam Chair. So we are going to have new machines and we have to go around the country to demo and properly and fully explain the how to use and the machines and such other items, Madam Chair.
Yes, we recognize the Minority Leader Coco Pimentel, the previous chairman of the self-same committee. Yes, so itong 12 billion na nadagdag, you intend to use it for expenses for the conduct and supervision squarely of the election. Wala nang pre-election or preparatory expenses.
Yes, Madam Chair. Hopefully, we will be able to do that in the
Pero
event.
pinapakita nyo, hindi naman aabot ng 12 billion.
Yes, Madam Chair. And that's the reason why, as correctly again pointed out by the Honorable Chairperson, it may form part later on of the savings of the Commission, or whatever will not be spent for purposes of making an award. Yung pong matitipid namin sa procurement, Madam Chair, may form part of the...
12 billion, how much do you anticipate will actually be utilized in 2025?
Madam Chair, mga 6 to 8 billion po.
Kaya nga so you will still have quite a bit of money thereafter.
Hopefully po, Madam
Although
Chair, yes.
as a constitutional body, you are allowed to retain whatever so-called savings are on hand.
Yes, Madam Chair. Maybe, hopefully, we can use that for purposes po. As pointed out before in the previous hearing of this committee, wala po yung pagpapagawa po ng ilang COMELEC offices po namin. We can use that already.
Tagal na kayong humihingi niyan. At nagulat nga ako kasi bakit yung 12 billion binigay para sa referendum and plebiscite when in fact yung hinihingi ninyo iba naman, yung salary upgrades, yung ating opisina, and so on. Pero nangyari na yan sa BICAM, ano bang gagawin natin dito? So ito yung idedeklara ninyo as savings, is that correct? Yung 12 billion, ano ba yung status na? Yes, Minority Leader, we're now discussing the 12 billion inserted during the BICAM because it seems to be a floating sum and we're not entirely certain what will become of it.
Is the amount exact 12 billion or 12.9? Sa table na naalala ko, I see a 12.9.
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor, yung 1 billion, almost 1 billion po kasi dun sinama sa election preparation. Yung 12 billion po kasi yun yung nakalagay po, Madam Chair, sa item na recall initiative, referendum, and supervision of the conduct of election.
I thought that was only one line and then 12.9. Dalawa pala.
Dalawa
Two
po.
lines.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Sige pa. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So, okay, the intent is to declare savings since only 6 to 8 billion is anticipated.
Yes, Madam Chair, hopefully.
So hopefully you'll be able to declare savings.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, we should save quite a bit of it. 6 to 8 billion is very generous. Ang laki nun yan. 1 billion lang yung transmission, di ba? Or even less.
Yes, Madam Chair. But however po, yung overtime po kasi ng mga empleyado namin on a per month basis, mga more or less po 100.
Ayoko naman
50
sa feeling
million.
na sila na walang overtime, pero totoo naman yun. Okay, on Miru systems, if there are no questions from the Minority Leader with regard to budget, aside from the insertion of 12 billion, let's proceed to the Miru. Yes po.
Ito na lang po. Basta if an agency is given 12 billion and the agency is able to save 6 of the 12 billion, that's not good planning, Madam Chair. I mean, that's reflective of the lack of planning at the highest levels of government. So, next time, wag na natin ulitin yung ganyang ginagawa.
Here. Yes, definitely. That's very, very poor projection and certainly should not be repeated. On the Miru systems, therefore, it was reported that aside from Miru, there were 3 other companies participating in the market survey. Did these other companies buy bid documents? Ano nangyari? Kasi nag-showcase po tayo dyan sa Philippine Plaza Sofitel. Ang dami-daming exhibitors. Tuwan-tuwa tayo because we appear to have so many alternatives. In the end, we had failure of bidding and a single bidder surfaced. Ba't nagkaganon?
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor. During the first round of bidding, which happened sometime December of 2023, 3 po ang bumili ng bid documents natin. And unfortunately, doon sa 3 yon, isa lang po yung nag-submit ng bid doc sa commission. Yun po yung Miru system. But which after po na ma-determine yung mga sa requirements ng technical as well and the documents, it would appear at that time na disqualified po, declared ineligible yung Miru during the first. Dalawa po ang defects ng kanilang submission. Number 1, yung isang dokumento po, hindi po siya translated into English. Second po, yung liability, especially po ng joint venture, hindi po nakalagay na jointly and severally. Jointly lang po ang nakalagay. uh, very important po under the Procurement Act dapat po jointly and severally. So dineclare pong ineligible ang Miru. And so pumunta po kami nitong nakaraang January 2024 sa second round of bidding. Sa second round po, Madam Chair, 6 naman po ang bumili ng bid documents. Ang bid document po namin ay 75,000 pesos ang isa. And sa 6 pong yun, during the date of the submission, unfortunately again, Madam Chair, Miru lang po ang nag-submit. If I may please enumerate the 6. Dominion voting system in the Philippines, AMA Group Holdings.
So Smartmatic, which you already had pre-disqualified, isn't that correct?
It would appear, Madam Chair, na nagkahiwalay yata po yung Dominion at Smartmatic. Yes, Madam
I
Chair.
mean, that's very clear from the Florida cases and elsewhere, right?
That's right, Madam
So
Chair.
Dominion, aka Smartmatic, ano pa po?
Indra Philippines, Madam Chair, AMA Group Holdings Corporation, Electrotech Consultant and Management Incorporated, of course, Smartmatic, bought the bidding docs, Miru System Company Limited.
Did Smartmatic attempt to bid given that they were pre-disqualified?
I think, Madam Chair, it's a matter of legal strategy. They will have to reiterate. They will have to go to the Supreme Court. There is now a case in the Supreme Court, Madam Chair.
I see. So that's part and parcel of their case. The entanglement with Dominion was not explained?
But not explained, Madam Chair, although, of course, the Commission is fully aware of what happened before, especially the cases mentioned by the good chairperson in the United States.
So therefore, Miru ended up as a sole bidder for 19 billion, the contract for 2025, and they presumably rectified the 2 defects in their previous bid documents. Is that correct?
That's correct. During the eligibility part, the TWG and the SBAC of the Commission determined na nag-qualify naman po yung Miru. And then during the post-qualification, the review of the documents naman po, nakita na compliant ang Miru sa technical, financial, and legal po.
Pero yung sinabi mo kanina, yung walang English translation, no
Correct.
jointly and severally, na-rectify na yun.
Yes, Madam Chair, corrected na
Okay,
po.
so you were pleased with that. However, I recall that even in the first round of bidding, there were already allegations that the track record of Miru was not very good. In Congo, for example, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, 45.1% of all polling stations experienced problems with the technology. In another report, 75% of voting machines malfunctioned in Iraq. And that, in fact, in Iraq, votes were finally counted manually. So, can Miru systems confirm that some areas in Iraq had to resort to manual counting? Is this a reliable system if you redound to manual due to the failure of the automated? Would somebody from Miru like to answer regarding your track record, particularly in Iraq po?
먼저 이라크에 대해서 말씀드리겠습니다.
First, we'll talk about the situation in Iraq.
이라크에 수동 카운팅한 것은 기계가 잘못되거나 개표 과정이 잘못된 것이 아니고 그 당시에 여당이 그 다시 카운팅하기를 했기 때문에 다시 확인하기 위해서 다시 카운팅한 겁니다.
Regarding the manual count in Iraq, there was no defects or problems with the machines that was placed there, or any counting or any tallying results. Rather, the incumbent was persistent on doing the manual recount.
그 3개월에 걸쳐서 리카운팅했는데 정확도가 99.9%로 정확히 나왔기 때문에 아직도 이라크에서는 저희 기계를 계속 쓰고 있습니다.
And with the 3 months that took place for the recounts, the results came out 99.9% accurate of the tally results with our machines. And so therefore, Iraq also is continually using our systems.
그리고 그 이의제기하는 뉴스는 그 루저 컴플레인으로서 많이 나올 수 있지만은 결국 그 결과가 좋았다는 팩트가 프루프 됐다는 그거에 대해서는 뉴스를 안 하기 때문에 안 알려진 것이지 결과가 좋았기 때문에 저희는 계속 고객으로서 서비스를 하고 있습니다.
And it's still the opposition, the losing parties who continue to pose these issues. But in fact, there's proof that the manual recount there was no issue with the manual recount. But all these good news, all these good results are not in the news outlets, are not broadcasted. So, but therefore, the Iraq continues to be our customer clients and continue to use our systems.
Did they use your systems after 2018?
지난 2023년 12월 달이 세 번째 한 거고, 18년, 21년, 18, 21, 23, three elections.
Three times after including 2018, 2021, and 2020, recently 2023. Yes.
Yes, there have been widespread reports about 75% of the machines actually malfunctioning in the
그,
first round of voting.
어,
Is that correct?
이거는 이라크 얘기가 아닌데.
I think I can answer this one,
Yes,
ma'am.
please.
Actually, there was what they call special voting, which is like early voting 2 days prior to the actual election in 2023. There was a little parameter that was miscommunicated within the group of our team and the elections commission.
Are you
So-
saying it did malfunction?
No, it didn't malfunction. It just didn't. The transmission was not done correctly for the early election. Okay, early voting. I'm sorry.
So apparently the entire first round, at least 75%, was
No.
discredited and had to be repeated.
No, ma'am. That's why they have backups. That's why they have backups.
The backup was manual.
No, there's a digital backup, two digital backups. One in USB flash and one's in the hard disk. And the paper ballot is obviously the third backup.
So if you're saying that there was no malfunction?
No,
or
no,
there
ma'am.
was-
No. The transmission. What they're mentioning was the transmission failure for the early voting, but that counts to less than 1%. That's the early voting.
You're saying
so-
it's not 75% as
ma'am,
universally
that's,
reported, but
that's-
1%, is that correct?
That's less than 1% for transmission failure. Okay, transmission failure. Okay, it was not the machine that was failed. So we actually we corrected the situation for the actual voting 2 days later. The actual voting day was very successful. We also have the letter stated by the Prime Minister of Iraq saying it was very successful election. We provided that to Comelec as part of our submission.
Yes, I understand you do have some kind of certification from the Iraqi
Yes,
government, is that correct?
Yeah, from the Prime
Yeah.
Minister.
International watchdogs or observers who have reinforced that claim?
Yes, we can get that for you. They also have UNAMI. It's a part of UN, oversees the entire.
Okay, would be
Okay.
great. We would be grateful if you could submit copies of the same to this body, to this committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because to date we have none of that evidence. And further, can Miru comment on reports that 45.1% of polling stations in the Democratic Republic of Congo experienced problems in 2018, the same year?
Congo.
In Congo, what actually happened? They said that there was a failure in the polling stations in Congo, almost half. That's quite
Yeah,
a large number.
Madam Chairman, 만약에 45%가 기가 페일러 났으면은 그 나라에서 난리가 나지. 결과가 다 끝내고 했는데 그건 너무 과장된 소문일 뿐이다. 네.
Madam Chair, the 45.1%, that is a very over exaggerated percentage.
그 정도면
So you are saying it's not 45%, but in fact, there were polling stations where there were problems. If it's not 45, how much?
아,
How much failure was there actually?
저희 기계는 그 이라크나 콩고 쪽 경험상
Congo, please, not
예,
Iraq.
오케이. 예. 정확한 숫자는 우리는 기계를 딜리버했기 때문에 알 수 없지만은 되게 기계에 장애나는 것은 뭐 수천 대에 불과하고 요번에 딜레이 된 것은 그 로지스틱 문제 때문에 그 장비가 늦게 도착해서 그렇게 카운트가 된 거지. 그 늦게 다음날 딜레이 됐더라도 기계는 잘 작동해서 잘 끝났다라고 알고 있다고.
Madam Chair, to explain the situation in Congo, for the actual percentage, we do not have the actual percentage, but there are only a few malfunctions. And also the 45% to 45.1% is really due to the delay in the logistics. Logistics is out of our scope of our company. We only deliver to only key cities, and then the election commission are the ones who are in the scope of doing the logistics.
Yes, the
And so
concern
this-
is that there was an international outcry following the Congo elections in 2018. France and Belgium questioned the results, for example, publicly and international fora. Also, the Catholic Church vehemently questioned the results and said that they were falsified to a grave degree.
그 콩고의 경우는 2015년도에 프랑스 업체가 시범 사업을 했는데 이제 저희가 2017년도에 메인 컨트랙트로 하려고 했기 때문에 유럽의 많은 데서 굉장히 그 한국 업체가 그 독재자 카빌라랑 연합해서 부정선거를 할 거라고 우리가 진입하는 데도 굉장히 저항이 많았다.
So, Madam Chair, in 2015, France did in fact did a pilot election project, and that's when we also went in to bid for the Congo project. But we came out on top in 2017 with the main contract. But France and all these European countries that you've mentioned, they were in fact in one bid, one team with the back then dictator Kabila of DRC, and they were trying to smear campaign against us and try to sabotage us, so we would not get in fact the contract in DRC.
그래서
You're saying that France and Belgium were involved with the losing bidders and were hence disgruntled and bent on vilifying Miru? Is that the situation you're describing?
To make a correction, as they were the competing companies back then, they tried to do everything in their powers to not make us win the contract.
근데 그 1년 동안에 그렇게 계속 방해를 받았는데 선거 날 야당이 됐기 때문에 그런 거에 대해서 다 클리어 됐다고.
But certainly the Catholic Church is not a bidder. Why is it that the Catholic Church also vehemently questioned the results?
I answer that, man. Madam Chair, the Catholic Church, some organizations, NGOs, they are, in fact, whether it's Miru or any other company, they're just plainly against using any voting machines. They just want manual. So it was the Catholic Church.
Why would it be in the interest of a church to select between manual and automated?
Well,
I
because,
don't think that's entirely believable.
Yes, ma'am. They are very mistrustful of then the government administration, including the president. back then. But then after the election, the president lost the election. There was a change in new presidency. So, in fact, the majority of
What was the role of the Catholic Church in all of this?
they're like an NGO, like a watcher. But initially,
I understand that they had 40,000 watchers, as a matter of fact, in Congo, which is why they say that, in fact, it was abundantly clear to them and the 40,000 watchers that Miru's system failed.
그 어느 나라든지 그 반대하는 NGO가 많이 있다. 네, 네,
얘기를 하시.
네, 거기까지만 얘기하면 돼요. 어느 나라든지 반대하는.
Madam Chair, in any country, there are certain NGOs that would reject or try to go against our systems. Sorry, not our systems, just the election systems.
Yes, we know how controversial this entire business is, but is there any proof that the 2018 elections in Congo are, as you say, above board and credible?
Yes, ma'am. We also
Because all the reports that we have in hand are otherwise.
yes, we also have a formal letter from the chairman of the Elections Commission of DR Congo. Which we also submitted as a part of our document submission.
Yes, but are there any international bodies that attested to the same?
There wasn't any request for such thing, or by so.
The concern is that recently, earlier this year, Congo once again conducted elections, and Miru was once again in the spotlight. It had something to do with smudged ID cards, so that the government of Congo was forced to allow people to vote disregarding the cards issued by Miru because they were all smudged. Since so many were unusable, the government proceeded with the election no longer requiring ID cards. So if Miru cannot properly provide ID cards, what is our assurance that it can provide a well-functioning election system?
그 아이디 카드는 임시 카드로서 우리가 한 6개월 정도 사용하는 걸로 알고, 그러니까 서멀 프린터 방식으로 제공했는데, 그 아이디 카드를 지갑에 넣지 않고 햇빛에 그냥 두는 경우에 지워진 건데, 그 이후에 선거 전에 우리가 지워지지 않는 다른 시스템을 다 공급을 해줬다고 말씀드립니다.
So for the case of ID cards, we supplied image cards that will last about 6 months through the thermal printer type as requested by the commission back then. But if the ID cards.
But you are admitting that the first batch of ID cards were smudged or somehow unusable, so that you had to provide replacement cards? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, we replaced everything.
If the simple matter of issuing ID cards is not done by Miru, what's our assurance that a well-functioning election system can actually be provided by Miru either?
아이디 카드 경우에는 우리가 그 종이 업체 카드 그 원 종이를 발주내는데 코팅할 때 아마 문제가 있었던 것 같다.
So with the issuance of the ID cards, we understand that I think there was some problems with the coding of the ID cards for the paper company.
그게 당장 문제가 됐으면 우리가 대처를 했을 텐데 한 4, 5개월 지나면서 흐려지기 시작해서 우리도 늦게 알았다.
If we had catched on very quickly, it would have not been an issue. But after 4 to 5 months in, that's when we realized. So.
Yes, but surely the printing of the ID cards was part and parcel of your contract in any case and your responsibility thereafter.
그 카드 프린터 재료는 미루 프로덕이 아니기 때문에 우리가 그 관리 차원에서 그런 것 같은데 지금 필리핀의 경우는 전부 우리가 기술을 가지고 있는 그런 에어리아만 지금 하고 있다. 예.
So with the card printer, it was not in fact produced by Miru, our company, but we will be now maintaining and supervising in all aspects of the Philippine election systems. And we are highly technically experts on this aspects of the AES.
그리고 현재
If I may add, Madam, Miu has been in elections business for over 15 years, including Korea, with a lot more sophisticated machines
Supplier in
in Korea. Yes,
South Korea.
yes, ma'am.
Which also conducts the elections, right? In
Yes,
South
ma'am.
Korea.
Yeah. And we've been doing this for a long time, and we actually design and develop and actually manufacture all our devices. So we're not like an SI company just doing software, getting products from third party. So we actually develop, design and develop and manufacture our products. So we have the technology competence over other companies, man.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, we take that into account. Maybe we go back to COMELEC. We assure the public that the last time the NBank will conduct an investigation into the Miru systems because of certain derogatory reports already discussed previously. Aside from these alleged certifications from the UN and the poll commissions of both Iraq and Congo, what else did you do? Because during the hearing in the House of Representatives, it was raised that COMELEC did not bother to get the side of the election watchdogs that criticized the elections in both Iraq and Congo. Is it true? I mean, we heard so many complaints from France, from Belgium, all partners in the Philippines and with representatives here. We also heard from the Catholic Church, surely overly, if not thoroughly represented in the Philippines. Why did the COMELEC not bother to get the side of the complainants?
Madam Chair, Your Honor, as far as the Public Act 9184 is concerned, this can be confirmed by the representative of GPPB. The reason why the SBAC will go deeper as regards a particular document is if there is, for example, that document produced during the post-qualification. The reason why the country Congo appeared during the conduct of the post-qualification was because Meru submitted the SLCC, the single largest completed contract in Meru, in Congo. And so our Bids and Awards Committee verified what really happened in Congo, including we received the certification coming from the President of the Electoral Commission of Congo. And as far as all other issues such as Iraq, such as France and the other entities mentioned by the Honorable Chair, these things did not really appear during the post-qualification. Individually, as members
But
of
they
the...
have appeared now.
Yeah.
So I think we need to hear the other side. I mean, clearly, isn't it self-interest that would propel the electoral commissions to certify that all the elections previous were in fact above board? Siguro kailangan naman pakinggan yung mga nagrereklamo na hindi daw tama at sapat yung Miru doon sa Iraq and Congo elections, yung paggamit ng kanilang sistema. So, is it wise to rely on these certifications that may or may not be self-serving? Hindi ba dapat magpatulong sa DFA para malaman kung ano nga ba talaga ang nangyari?
Madam Chair, like for example, in the case of Congo, our Commissioner Maceda is now presently in Russia as an election observation mission for the conduct of the Russian presidential election. And there, he was able to meet the President of Congo. And the President of Congo attested to the certification that he issued. In fact, the exact word was that they are so happy with Miru system when they used the system of Meru during the conduct of the Congo election. So,
Siguro yan talaga ang sasabihin ng sino mang nanalo. Eh,
Ma'am,
paano naman yung kabila?
Madam Chair, that's the like the president, the chairman of the commission on election of Congo, because all the electoral bodies worldwide were invited by Russia to monitor the election. And likewise, Madam Chair, as far as the SBAC of the COMELEC is concerned, the SBAC will just rely on the document as submitted, and it's up now to the members of the NBank to whether to accept, to adopt the recommendation of our SBAC and or see for ourselves. For example, Madam Chair,
Understand, Mr. Chairman, but would it not be wise and prudent to also enjoin the DFA to ask for some help with regard to France, Belgium, and the Catholic Church? Tanungin natin para ano bang nangyari talaga. Kasi mahirap to ang nagsasabi na okay, talaga lahat na yan nakaupo, ano lahat sila, COMELEC doon sa ibang bansa, alangan naman sabihin nila, pangit yung ginawa nila. Kaya gusto natin malaman kung ano ba talaga yung nangyari kasi we're only hearing one side. Paano naman yung kapila?
Madam Chair, individually the members of the NBank, me personally, I investigated on what really happened. I was really.
But can we get some certification in hand? Baka naman yung DFA can help us with this?
Yes, Madam Chair. But however, yeah, we can certainly do that.
Pero it's too late na.
Yes, we were time pressed at that time. Your Honor, 6 months po kasi ima-manufacture ang mga machines. After 6 months, Madam Chair, you have 2 months international certification. After 2 months, you have 1.5 months na source code review, Madam Chair, and then you are going to test the machines.
Sige, alam natin parati na lang yan ang dahilan na talagang we're pressed for time. Kaya lang, ano kung sa 2025, mangyari yung allegedly nangyari sa Iraq, 75% of voting machines will fail. Or yung nangyari sa Congo, 45.01% of the polling places will experience issues. What will the COMELEC do? Are you prepared to undertake a manual count? Mano-mano tayo nito. Pag nag-glitch yan, kasi admitido sila, nagkaroon talaga sila ng problema doon sa early or first round of voting. Tapos nauwi sila sa bilangan, mano-mano. Yan ba gagawin natin, mano-mano?
Madam Chair, in the case of Iraq, because po yun ang dinidiscuss din po natin, yung sa Iraq po, ang nakalagay po ay conduct of the election. It would really appear that there is no problem as far as the machines are concerned, as explained by Miru. It's really the election management. And that was likewise the content, Madam Chair, of the report of UNAMI, the United Nations mission in Iraq, which was actually created by the Security Council as per the request.
Let's not confuse them. Yung Iraq na 75% fail, talagang nag-fail. Nagkaroon ng digital backup, pero sinasabi nila transmission failure. Pero may nag-fail.
Early voting, Madam Chair. Early voting po yan, Madam Chair.
Logistics failure. Sa Congo yun, yung 45. So, ang aking problema, kapag hindi umandar yung mga machine, upwards of 75%, mauuwi tayo sa manual.
Madam Chair, na-test naman po namin yung mga machines, and in all fairness, nandiyan po sa labas lahat ng machines, dinala ng Miru. And in all fairness, Madam Chair, even the DOST had issued the certification, and likewise po,
Parating umaandar pag ideal conditions. Andito tayo sa Senate, walang brownout, hindi kinakaladkad sa baku-bakong mga kalsada, walang pumipitik sa kung ano-anong machine. Under these ideal conditions, parating umaandar, di ba, sa lahat ng test pilot natin?
Madam Chair, nag-field test po, and part po yan ng mock election, pati part po ng DOST. Pati nga po yung lalagyan, Madam Chair, ngayon, dati-rati po yung ating previous provider, styro lang po yan at saka box. Ngayon po, iba po yung lalagyan. So, pati po yung ballot box nga, na-test din po lahat ng technical working group ng commission, and we were so satisfied with the outcome. In fact po, even the other citizens arm, NAMFREL, PPCRB, even Lente was there. I present po during all the aspect of the procurement.
kapag nagkaroon ng digital failure, sabihin natin ayaw natin ng manual, anong backup po?
Your Honor, Madam Chair, the manual count is always the last backup in any automated election.
Pero may digital backup pa tayo kasi ayaw natin mauwi sa manual. Aabutin tayo ng siyam-siyam.
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact po, this time, in the terms of reference, before, iisa lang po yung repair hub natin sa Santa Rosa. And then in the last election, regional. Ngayon po, Meru had agreed that all the repair hubs will be in all the provinces of the country. And so mas mabilis po yung mas mabilis po ngayon kung sakasakali. But however, Madam Chair, everything will have to do with the customization. Napaka-importante po yung customization part ng makina. And we will have to be very, we will observe really how the Meru will customize the machine.
The ICT is here. Asek Paraiso, would you like to attest to the functioning of these machines? Apparently, the machines, Minority Leader in the next room, if anyone's interested in a demo. Yes, Asek. Testing daw ninyo.
Yeah, Madam Chair, yes, we can confirm that the ICT as part of the Comelec Advisory Council and the Technical Working Group, we have tested the machines. We are part of the group that tested the machines, Madam Chair.
And what preparations have the ICT and Comelec undertaken in the event that there are problems?
Definitely, Madam Chair. We will be promulgating the necessary guidelines for purposes of handling situation as mentioned by the chair. Like for example, for failure to transmit or the machine will fail, we will be promulgating that guidelines. We always issue po yung ganung guidelines po just in case. Yung pong before, Madam Chair, luma po kasi mga makina natin. Dito po, Miro will be, because we will be leasing new machines. Hindi po ito old machines, new machines. And again, we will be having our contingency measures or procedures that will be set in place for the automated election.
Please apprise the committee on that regard kasi wala pa kami naririnig dyan. Minority Leader, there's only a single representative for the three-party consortium. But I understand that Mr. Ernani Lim is prepared to speak on behalf of St. Timothy, of also the other groups. Is that correct, Mr. Lim? You will be answering all the questions with regard to the other companies involved.
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right. So kung ganon, yes po.
May we know who appointed Mr. Lim? Hernani Lim. In Venice na. How was who appointed you? How was it done? Sino?
Your Honor, during our meeting internally, they appointed me as the representative for this particular session. But if you are going to ask me on paper whether we have a certification from all the members of the JV, wala po. I'm sorry.
JV, the joint venture does not have its own anong tawag niya? Registration with the SEC, formal registration with the SEC. Wala. You just exist because of the contract, a joint venture contract.
You're correct po, Your Honor.
Okay, so with that kind of an entity, how does that kind of an entity authorize somebody? In what form? Siguro, logic tells us, tatlong board resolution siguro. Yata, yun na lang yung pinakamalapit nating ano. So you do not have that, Mr. Lim?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I don't have that.
Did you represent the joint venture before Comelec? Never.
Not yet po.
So hindi pa natin natitest yung authority ni Mr. Lim, ma'am. Even sa Comelec, hindi pa lang siya nag-appear eh. So you just came here to tell us na walang the president of any of the three, wala rin? Of the three corporations.
Wala po, Your Honor.
Miro is here siguro. Miro is one of the three.
Hindi po, therefore.
The fourth.
So
And then the
that's-
three are the Filipino corporations
Yes,
that
yes, so the
partnered
three,
with them.
Wala, ni presidente ng tatlo. Wala. What is a construction company doing in involving itself in election systems?
Your Honor, when we form the group, each one has its own responsibility. In the case of St. Timothy, they will be a financial supporter because of the amount that is involved in investing for the project.
Chair, our golden age of infrastructure has led us to the fact that only construction companies have the capital. Ganun na nangyayari. At because ganun din yung excuse, Mr. Chairman, comment sa laptop eh. Construction company ang nag-supply ng laptop sa DepEd. So mapapakamot ka talaga ng ulo mo eh. Paano nangyayari? So and it's all about the financial muscle of the construction company. So this may have been the result of the so-called golden age of infrastructure, Madam Chair.
Golden for some, sir, yes. Yeah, I'd like to carry on with that. We're very perplexed by the role of a construction company in the lease of these vote counting machines. At you have admitted na sila ang magdadala ng pera. Ang ibig sabihin, ang Miro walang pera?
Madam Chair, not all, but Miro will have, of course, everyone in the consortium has its own share based on the responsibility given to them.
Yung isa pa kasi, dun sa Articles of Incorporation ng St. Timothy, ang liwaliwanag na parang construction lang talaga ang papel niya, general contracting. At no point is there anything in the primary purpose of the Articles of Incorporation filed with the SEC indicating that they would have anything to do with election exercises. Kaya, binago ba nila yan? Binago ba nila yung AOI nila to lease automated vote counting machines? It's not encompassed in their purpose as a construction company.
Madam Chair, that is something I have to refer to them.
Yes, please
Unfortunately
do,
po.
because I am very perplexed. The SEC documents only indicate that they will be limited to construction, correction, repairing, remodeling, renovation, rehab, maintenance, and otherwise to engage in other such works. Furthermore, I'd like to ask Mr. Lim, or if you're unable to answer, in 2014, yung St. Timothy, yung capital niya, nasa 11 million lang. So hindi mo talaga tatakbuhan siya para mangutang o magbigay ng financial capacity sa isang joint venture. Kasi 11 million lang siya noong 2014. Oo, andun lang siya talaga, nakapako lang siya sa 11 million. Pagkatapos, ang nangyari niyan, in 2022, in the span of 8 years, biglang yung assets umabot na ng 3.6 billion and the revenues reached 7+ billion. To make things even more incredible, yung paid up capital of the company from 11 million 2014, mid-2021 naging 44 million, by 2022 nasa 1 billion na. And there was no change in the names or the shareholders, and the shareholdings of its president, Maria Roma Rimando, went from 43.7 million to a whopping 975 million, or almost 1 billion. So clearly, there's a sudden infusion of money into the company immediately after the pandemic. Right after, in 2021, biglang lumaki. So ang tanong ko, who infused all this cash? Why? Was it the alleged owner, Miss Rimando? And where did she get all this money from virtually overnight?
Madam Chair, I have to apologize because I cannot answer that. I think the proper resource there would be from St. Timothy.
Ayun na nga, kaya nagtatanong ako, pero sabi mo, kayang-kaya mo sagutin lahat ng tanong eh. Yan na nga ang problema eh. Yes, please.
Are you even a stockholder of any of the three corporations, Mr. Lim? You're
Wala
not.
po, sir.
Ba't ka kaya napili? Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not, sir. I'm from ICS, the third party of the consortium.
As an employee?
Yes po.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah, so maybe-
I don't think we should
Yeah, we
recognize Mr.
shouldn't-
Lim to represent the.
we shouldn't
We should require them
recognize-
to send the proper.
But maybe comments can help.
representatives.
Presumably, you did due diligence on these companies you're dealing with and that you awarded bids to.
Madam Chair.
Use the cash overnight in right after the pandemic. And then what's even weirder, so there's this rapid rise in these assets and income of this company, which is limited to general contracting. Suddenly, the primary owner, this Miss Remando, determines to sell. Kumikita ng milyon-milyon, itong kumpanya, bilyon-bilyon ang kinikita, biglang binenta. Bakit ganun? Hindi ba kayo nagtaka sa mga pangyayaring ito?
Madam Chair, as far as the COMELEC is concerned, we relied solely and exclusively on the Republic Act 9184. And under Republic Act 9184.
You told me, Chairman, repeatedly that it is not prohibited, nor is it required that an IT company be involved. So it's not prohibited na construction. Pero kagila-gilalas naman itong kumpanya nito. Parang ang daming pangyayari na hindi mapaliwanag.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, this company submitted 121 ongoing contracts. And likewise, our Special Bids and Awards Committee through our TWG verified as to whether this company had been blacklisted or even suspended by the DPWH or even by the PhilJet. And it would have
So these 121 ongoing contracts are public works contracts.
131, Madam Chair, 131.
Public works contracts.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, did it not occur to any of us that a conflict of interest may arise if the proponents were politicians possibly running in 2025?
Madam Chair, we verified likewise with the registration, and it would appear that there are no names who are politicians in the board. And
About the board, hindi ba, yung mga proponents, parati namang mayor, congressman, senador, tatakbo yan ng 2025, hindi pa alanganin ang lagay ninyo dyan?
we don't think so.
Kasi puro public works to. Mahirap paniwalaan na hindi politika.
Meron naman po pa, Madam Chair, na dalawa pang kasama, yung pong
St.
ICS.
Tayo. Tapusin muna natin yung St. Timothy. Baka alam naman ng COMELEC kasi syempre mag-due diligence po kayo.
Yes, Madam Chair, we with all due respect, we did our due diligence. We verified
So,
with
coherent, plausible explanation for the sudden infusion of capital. And just when the company becomes a billionaire, the primary owner lets go of all her shares.
as far as the COMELEC is concerned, Madam Chair, we are not aware of such a fact as to the.
It's all on record, sir. It's in the SEC.
Yes, Madam Chair, but because we checked the ongoing contracts and
A. Python, the fellow who bought the shares of the former president and is the biggest shareholder. Sino naman siya?
with all due respect, Madam Chair, maybe really the company, maybe the company can answer that.
Kilala mo si Opaline Python? Siya yung bumili kay Miss Rimando.
Your Honor, hindi rin po sa akin personally familiar siya.
Di mo rin kilala?
Ma'am, a question from
Yes,
Mr. Lim.
minority.
In the meeting of the three corporations, who attended the meeting for St. Timothy?
Your Honor, kasi last we were advised that when the Senate requested the presence of St. Timothy, they were all out of town. So they spoke to.
Sabi mo kasi na may meeting yung tatlo, you were authorized. So,
Apo.
who represented St. Timothy in your authorization?
Si Centerpoint po kasi called si St. Timothy and they said they cannot send any representative. That's why I will be the one to represent the three consortium.
Kaya nga, who made the decision for St. Timothy to authorize you? Kasi tatlo nga authorize you eh. Sino? Hindi mo alam? Hindi mo rin alam?
Hindi po.
Sige. We will no longer ask you any question, Mr. Lim, kasi
Yes, I don't
you're
think
not
so.
authorized. I'm sorry for
Unang
still recognizing you.
papel.
Wala siyang personality po. Opo.
Kaya wala nga siyang personality. Ang hirap naman ito. Can you help us, Comelec? In as much as kayo ang nagpakilala nitong mga pangalan sa amin, sino-sino ba ito? Bakit hindi ninyo kilala? Hindi sumisipot. Never ninyo nakita to. Nakarecord naman tong Opaline E. Python. He acquired the shares of the former president at may BIR ba kayo nito? Sino ba ito na napakalalaki naman ng halaga nito?
Madam Chair, ang commission po, again, with all due respect, nag-rely po kami doon sa mismong representation ng joint venture because yung JB po,
Sila ng papel sa inyo, baka naman may special power of attorney or something na binigay sa Comelec.
yung joint venture, Madam Chair,
The joint venture is not registered in the SEC, so it's only a consortium among them. So how can they, like the minority leader said earlier, appoint someone on behalf of all four?
yes, Madam Chair, we check with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the three, and we found out that maganda naman po yung kanilang record with the Securities and Exchange Commission. And as far as the ongoing contracts are concerned, we determined if there were delays or negative slippage, pero wala po kaming nakita rin, Madam Chair.
As a matter of fact, there has been a complaint to the chairperson that St. Timothy Construction Company should be a valid contracting company. Isn't that correct?
Madam Chair, during the day, on the day of the signing of the contract, we at this representation received a letter allegedly coming from St. Timothy, Madam Chair. However, we will submit to the committee the same letter, supposedly with the corporate secretary certificate, did not even contain the ID or the for purposes of the verification.
Tanggap, pambira ng Comelec, 19 billion na kontrata.
Madam Chair,
Kung sino-sino bibigyan.
during the signing of the contract, the representative of St. Timothy was there, the lawyer, the former Secretary Kaintik of the ICT, the former
Yes, of course.
Manny Kaintik was there. He was the lawyer of St. Timothy. And I personally asked, okay, we will proceed with the signing, no question, no objection. And I told him there was a letter which was emailed a few hours before the signing, and they said that we should proceed.
Okay, problema ko rito, di ba construction company nga siya. Ngayon, may nagsabi sa amin, di ba yung contracting company, meron niyang lisensya. Ngayon, nung chinek namin sa PICAB, online, regular license online, ang laki-laki doon, expired ang kontrata at lisensya nitong contracting company. Was it renewed? Does anybody know why are we awarding to an expired contracting company? No more asking Mr. Lim. Yeah, that's correct. Yes, maybe Comelec knows. You're contracting with a non-existent construction company. Paano ba to?
Madam Chair, personally, I asked the executive director of PICAB. Yes.
Somebody called and said, contracting company ba talaga yan? Kasi asan yung permit? E di napatingin kami, andun sa online. Pag tinignan mo, St. Timothy, may ganon, expired.
Yes, Madam Chair, but based on the verification of yours truly, before I signed even the contract, the executive director confirmed that they did not blacklist the St. Timothy. It has ongoing contracts with the government, and so we personally, I do not
But it
really
doesn't
know.
even have a valid pickup license to operate as a contracting company.
Pasensya na po, Madam Chair, pero iba po yung report mismo sa atin po nung executive director ng PICAB, Madam Chair.
Okay, so perhaps Chairman George Garcia, as well as Commissioner Bulay, and those in charge of finance, the Bids and Awards Committee, perhaps we can get your assistance on St. Timothy, its papers, its owners, its financial history, and apparently its contracting history as well. Sana sumipot naman sila kasi nahirapan tayong lahat.
Yes, Madam Chair, we are going to submit to the committee all the documents that we have, the financial documents that we have. submitted by the joint venture, the Filipino partners.
Kilala ninyo to si Miss Rimando? Na-meet ninyo? O yung bagong may-ari, yung Opaline Python, na-meet po ninyo?
Hindi po, Madam Chair.
Nakipag-deal sa St. Timothy si Manica Intiklang?
The council and meron po silang inauthorize with special power of attorney, Miss Valerie Manahan, Valerie Manahan, Madam Chair, with special power of attorney. Yes, Madam Chair.
Pwede pa kumbidahin lahat yan kasi kailangan maliwanagan tayo, no? Is Valerie Manahan present? Andito daw. Andito ba si Valerie Manahan? Baka kaya naman ninyo ipaliwanag to. She manifested her presence earlier on behalf of St. Timothy. Kanina, nung nagro-roll call tayo at nag-a-acknowledge ng resource, wala na po. Parang she was here kanina eh. Anyway, mukhang wala na rito. Okay, so I wanted to go back to something that the minority leader mentioned earlier. Bakit kinailangan ng napakaraming partner? Sabi ninyo, Miru not only designs and manages software electoral systems, it even manufactures hardware, it even creates new innovations, etc. No, it's a very well-placed, high-tech Korean company. Bakit kinailangan pa nito yung integrated computer systems at saka center point solution technology? Why did they need two more companies? Anybody in Miru would like to answer? For undertaking an electoral exercise on your own, and that in fact you conduct very wide range research and development on hardware and software in Korea, Congo, Iraq, and elsewhere. Why is it that you needed two more IT companies in order to bid for this contract?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. For two reasons, ma'am. One is that for the training, and the other is for the rollout and the implementation of the devices, because we normally don't in Iraq or other countries, we don't do the logistics, only to deliver the devices to the appointed warehouse of the elections commissions of those countries. But here we are assigned to be responsible for the training, all the trainings and the logistics as well. So we need those IT companies, ma'am.
So your which one is your training arm? Is it Centerpoint or integrated?
ICS is our training, right? And the rollout as well, right? And the center point.
And Centerpoint is the
Okay.
logistics? Because Centerpoint does not appear to be a logistics company at all. We have several logistics companies in the Philippines. This is a technology company. It's not a logistics company.
Yes, ma'am. So what center point is for the training as well? Training and the part of logistics, right? Can you answer that? Oh. Training and rollout. Center point, right? And the training is ICS. Okay. Madam Chair, the center point is for the rollout. ICS is for the training. So we need those two companies to support us.
The other question that comes to mind is what's the capitalization of Miru? You are a global multinational company.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me stocks,
Yeah. 아니. 그렇게 얘기하지 마시고요.
What your
이
capitalization
캐피털
is at
자산이
this
얼마나
point.
되냐 물어봐요. 자산 어떻게 돼요?
I know that it's a very, very large multinational. Perhaps you can
Wow.
inform us?
100 million? About approximately 100.
I tried very hard to look in the Korean websites, but I don't read Korean and the translate didn't work. So you'll have to help us.
Our apologies, madam. Approximately 100 million US dollars.
So is that a large company by Korean standards? You said you undertook South Korean elections on your own.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's, well, not large, but kind of mid-sized
Yeah,
company.
mid-size, that's correct. But earlier on, we were informed that the necessity for a construction company was because you lacked capital. So you had to bring on board St. Timothy's. But I believe that you are perfectly able to finance this operation. It is, after all, 19 billion pesos.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. It's just the requirement here, just very unique to Philippines. What is called NFCC, that which we don't necessarily meet that in other countries. Here, NFCC, the ceiling level is very high.
What's FCC? Sorry.
Net financial contracting capacity, Madam Chair.
Sorry.
Net financial contracting capacity, which was actually taken care of by St. Timothy, Madam Chair. Sila po yung nag-submit ng
So
NFCC.
Miru did not have the debt financial contracting capacity for 19 billion.
Sa kanila pong sinabit, Madam Chair. Ang sa kanila po, Madam Chair, ay yung SLCC, single largest contract. Yeah, yes, yes, Madam Chair. Yes. Yung sa Congo po ang nasubmit nila.
The single largest is a similar activity, election na kaya nila.
Yeah.
Pero pagdating sa financial,
Yung St. Timothy po.
because why? That must be Filipino?
60%
That
must be, yes,
Filipino.
Madam Chair.
Combined. Kinombined. So, inattribute ninyo 60% dun sa tatlong Filipino, 40% from Miru, and then you found out that together, all four, they qualify, they comply with the NFCC. Ganun po ba 'yon?
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Ganun pala, Madam Chair. May limit din
may
even
limit to
though let us say
60%.
Miru could be a billionaire, multi-billionaire dollar
Right.
corporation. Yung
Filipino
part ng kanyang
component.
part ng kanyang financial contribution is limited to 40%.
To 40%, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
40%. I see. Okay, now that makes sense. Thank you very much. So you'll help us with St. Timothy. In the meantime, did the committee secretary tell us that they were going to attend? In fact, she was here, right? Yes, Valerie Manahan. So they didn't, they told us they will attend or not attend? What is the...
So, Madam Chair,
Yes, po.
one topic lang muna ako.
Yes,
So Miru Systems has been handling the elections in South Korea?
Sir.
For how long already?
Since 2005. Okay.
Is it 50?
Since 2005, man.
Since 2005. Okay. Comelec, did we check their ano naman, the feedback from South Korea? Performance from South
Yes,
Korea?
Madam Chair. In fact, during the signing of the contract, the ambassador was present to witness the signing of the contract. And maganda po yung lahat ng sinasabi niya sa Miru as the representative of the government of South Korea.
Yeah, but let's say online resources na check natin anong feedback sa... There have been some close elections in South Korea, right? Recently, very close elections.
Yes, sir. Somewhat close.
Can we get what's the difference between the winner and the second placer in the presidential election, in the last presidential election?
That's
Percentage.
about 0.1.
Yeah, less than 1%.
You're
very close here.
0.7%, sir.
0.7. percent.
0.7%. Very
Yeah,
close
very
election.
close.
Yes, yes. Yes. Did we get the opinion of the loser, Chairman?
We did not po, Madam Chair. Your Honor.
Because in Korea they have strong parties, strong party system. So there must be a party stand. Yung the party which lost the election should have, would most likely have a party stand on the results of the election. So we better get that honest position or feedback from the losing party, Madam Chair. Yes, Mr. Ken. No.
Sir, yeah, just commenting on that, sir. Korean voters generally have lot more trust in the system that's being used in Korea. So the losers don't appeal like other countries like in Iraq or DR Congo.
So you've been handling South Korean presidential elections?
Presidential
Okay.
and also for the upcoming general election, local election as well.
Local, okay. Since 2005,
2005, sir.
so making it how many elections?
지금 몇번
There are many small elections, maybe over than 600.
Okay, but in the presidential elections, how many? That's the nationwide. Is the presidential election nationwide? Okay.
Yeah, four presidential
So
elections.
four
sir.
presidential elections nationwide.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to proceed to another controversial topic that's been in the news lately. And that was the internet voting and overseas voting. That the first bidding for the internet voting system was a failure. And then there's a report that the second bidding is to be negotiated procurement. So is that correct? Because based on the reports, which is all we have to rely on, the bidding failed because there was no bidder at all.
Madam Chair, during the first round of bidding, which happened last February 21, 6 bidders actually purchased bid documents. 6, but only 2 submitted the bid docs, Indra and We Are IT Philippines. However, both bidders were declared ineligible due to the non-compliance with certain financial contracting capacity as well as certain documentary requirements. And so we will be going to the second round of bidding, which will happen.
Pero dineklara nyo na it's not going to be ordinary bidding. You're straight away going to negotiated.
Hindi po.
That was my understanding from the news reports. Please clarify.
Yes, Madam Chair. So during the first bidding, 6 po. Pagkatapos po during the second set of bidding, 4 naman po ang nag-participate. And only ang nagbumili ng bidding documents. And only 2 bidders submitted bids, yung Joint Venture Resources and AB Zone Incorporated po. Sa April 2, Madam Chair, we will be going to the second round of bidding. April 2.
Medyo nalito na ako. Teka. First bidding, 6 bought bid documents.
Yes,
2 bidded, Indra and We Are IT Philippines. Second round, 4 bought bid documents, 2 bids, JV and Avise. Are we on?
May I respectfully correct, Madam Chair? First round of bidding, 6 companies bought documents and 2 companies submitted. We are going to go to the second round of bidding by April 4.
Eh, bakit may
April 2.
Avisan?
Yun lang po yung
4 bought bid
yun lang po yung bumili
documents.
ng documents pa as of today.
So, teka.
Hindi pa po tapos. April 2, Madam Chair.
So, 4 yung bumili so far. Sa second round.
2 pa lang po, Madam Chair.
So, first round, 6 bought, 2 bidded, both disqualified. Second round, 2 bought, no bids yet. When is it scheduled?
April 2, Madam Chair.
At least hindi April Fools, ano? Isang araw. Okay, April 2 will be the bidding. What is this report therefore of a negotiated procurement? Nabanggit yan sa press release eh.
Wala po kaming negotiated
Kaso,
procurement, madam.
negotiated
Wala po, Madam
procurement.
Chair.
Sadya sa beses eh.
Wala po. Just in case sa second round of bidding, Madam Chair, magpe-fail pa rin, then we will go to negotiated procurement.
Yes, I understand GPPB naman will allow that. Pero ang tanong ko, second round, as is, regular bidding lang.
Yes, Madam Chair. April
Okay.
2, Madam Chair, will be the day of the submission and the opening.
So, in the event that nobody submits a bid, kasi yan yung threat, how can COMELEC ensure there is actually at least one company willing to supply the internet voting system? Kapag nag-failure niyan ulit,
Madam Chair, then we're going to look into the
negotiated
yung
bid.
negotiated bid. Yung pong anim na originally bumili ng bid docs, madami pong magagaling doon, Madam Chair. But, well, unfortunately, they did not submit siguro po, kulang sa panahon, ang sabi nila, and they're going to, during the pre-bid conference, they're asking for more time to prepare the documents, especially yung mga foreign documents.
Is that the usual problem? Because there was a great deal of interest and we were all elated to attend your electoral systems exhibition in Sofitel. There were so many alternatives, so many new technologies, so many companies that displayed their wares and demonstrated so many options. Bakit ngayon nagkakaroon ng ganito na walang nagbibid, kulang ang bidding, iisa yung nagbid, Miru, at tapos yun na nagkaka-problema tayo sa choices. Wala namang dumarating. Bakit ganun?
Sa GPPB rules po kasi sa 9184 and the IRR, Madam Chair, yung pong period should be observed strictly by the Special Bids and Awards Committee. So time press po and
Pero
so
dapat alam na nila.
dapat po
Hindi
dahil
naman nagbago yung 2025. Hindi naman nagbago yung 2022.
last year pa nga po, Madam Chair, yung terms of reference namin na nasa website na naandyan, alam na rin po nila pati sa field jobs.
GPBB periods. Ilang buwan lang naman yun.
Yung po mga documents kasi, Madam Chair, kinakailangan, for example, yung mga apostille, kinakailangan kuhanin nila and hindi po ganun kabilis yung pagkuha ng mga ng apostille, Madam Chair.
Pati yung apostille naman, digitized na. Ano ba? Bakit yan ang dahilan? Parang may mas malalim na dahilan, but laging problema. Can you provide an overview of the online voting and counting? What do we have in mind? Dahil syempre, yung cybersecurity ang laging kinatatakutan ng lahat. Alam naman natin, internet voting pumalpak na sa ibang bansa na tinuturing nating high-tech. Ano ba more or less yung itsura, tsaka ano yung safety features, and will there be mechanisms for our OFWs to verify exactly how they voted, how it was recorded and counted?
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, there will be a pre-registration, but with the kind indulgence of the Honorable Chair and Your Honor, can I ask the IT expert of the Commission?
Marami kasi nagtatanong na OFW, paano daw yung mga internet voting? Kasi kinakabahan sila. Sino ang eligible? Kailan ba sila? Kasi di ba marami kang modes para sa overseas voting. May yung usual, meron pang mail, meron pang internet. Tama ba yun? Parang kinatatakutan ng ating OFW to eh.
No, Madam Chair, before I will give the floor to the IT director, there are certain countries that does not allow internet voting, such as China, such as Russia, such as Israel. Yan po yung we have a list of countries. In these countries po, instead of internet voting, we are going to use the machines that we have that will be supplied to us by Miru. In fact, we are proposing, dahil dalawa po kasi yung features ng machine eh. Isang DRE at saka OMR, which can be turned off. One can be turned off so that the other one can be used. So sa abroad po, we are going to use the DRE touchscreen system, but in the Philippines, we're going to use the OMR technology. And for purposes, Madam Chair, of explaining Yung security, that's really the number one consideration. Security of the internet voting. May I respectfully request our Director of Information Technology.
Madam Chair, para lang hindi ako mag-react lang ako sa sinabi ni Chairman. Alam niyo sa usapan parati, it's the paper ballot which is the last backup. And yet sa abroad gusto niyo ganun. Why? I mean,
We have no decision yet, Madam Chair, Your Honor. I just expressed the initial sentiment, but in the event later on that the Commission will proceed with the internet voting, we can, and then doon po sa lugar na walang, hindi pa gagamit ang internet, we can proceed with still the ballot po. Total naman po,
okay, sige po.
yes, Madam Chair.
Sorry,
Total naman po yung nung mag-list po kami dito sa Miru, yung presyo niyang napakababa po, dalawang system po OMR and DRE.
Mr. Ken, in all honesty, when the COMELEC ordered the machines with two features, scanning and touchscreen, did it make the machine more expensive?
Of course, sir, because the extra components for the touch screen, for the DRE and the scanning type, we have to combine them.
Thank you for verifying our common sense. Yeah? So by requiring the two features, we made the machines more expensive. Tama. Okay, and yet COMELEC is yet to decide whether it will permanently turn off one feature because magpe-paper-based na rin kayo even sa abroad. But why did we start from the very start ng specs natin mas mahal na kaagad? We chose machines na mas mahal na kaagad, Madam Chair. Let's allow
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. Actually po, Madam Chair, nakatipid yung COMELEC ng 800 million po doon sa bid price ng offer ng Miru, 800 million pesos. In fact, our estimate was that 155,000 per machine dapat. Lumalabas po 149,000 pesos per machine.
With the answer of Mr. Ken, which I premise with in all honesty, and we are glad that the South Koreans are honest people, mas malaki sana ang natipid natin.
Sir, if I may,
With that answer from Mr. Ken.
if I may answer, it was like extra cost for us, but we had to lower our price to meet the budget here. So definitely there's an extra component, so it brings our cost up, but for our provisional prices, we definitely had to lower it to meet the budget, sir.
Therefore, common sense tells us that if without that extra cost, you could still lower your price a bit more. To the extent of that extra cost, Mr. Ken. I mean, we're just using common sense here. But thank you for your honesty. I mean, that's the correct answer I anticipated, Madam Chair. So, sana pag-isipan po ng COMELEC yung kasi parating pinag-uusapan dito like dalawang backup and then the third backup, it's always the last backup is the paper ballot. Parating ulit. Hindi lang sa hearing na to, even before, ganun naman talaga . And yet the plan is to dispense with the paper ballot in the overseas. Kaya back to the question, why? I mean, may clamor ba? Nag-clamor ba ang ating OFW? Gusto nila touchscreen? Ayaw nila ng scanner?
Wala naman po, Madam Chair. But kung makukuha naman namin na mababa ang na presyo, kasi nga po binabaan naman po ng Miru in all fairness sa kanila na dalawang feature, why not? So that we will have that option. But base po kasi sa offer talaga nila, Madam Chair, try to imagine, bundled po kasi ito bundled. Kasama yung ballot boxes, kasama ang balota, kasama and the printing of the ballots.
But at any rate, Madam Chair, this is a one-time lease of machines. Klarong-klaro yun. If you decide not to use the DRE, what was the point? So, and then with the extra cost be volunteered by our South Korean friends. I mean, anyway, the decision has been made. Ako lang po yung napakamot lang talaga ng ulo when I first heard yung decision ninyo. Saan galing yun? Sabihin, saan galing yung idea na yun? There's no clamor, there's nothing. Saan galing? But at any rate, We have to live with the decision of the COMELEC and they also have to live with their own decisions, Madam Chair. Sige po.
Yes, anything you'd like to say, Director Florita? Just quickly tungkol sa internet voting kasi kinakabahan nga yung mga OFW natin.
Good afternoon po, Madam Chairman and Senator Coco. Based on the terms of reference po, the requirement of the overseas online voting system is that each voter po will have to re-register for online voting. So hindi po porke registered voters na sila on COMELEC, ma-avail na nila agad yung registration. So there will be a pre-registration from January until on election day, pwede po sila mag-register. So during registration, they have to provide yung Siemens book or yung passport nila, and then the system should be able to capture yung mga information on the passbook or Siemens book, and then that will be the security measure in order for them to vote on election day. The voting po will be the same as the DRE, that they have to touch yung screen, and then after voting they will also receive yung VVPAT, pero hindi po nila pwede siguro nilang mapicturean, but it will be in the system and will be stored doon po sa server. So immediately po after ng election, on the last day of election, the system po will generate election returns and will be transmitted to the CCS of the Miru and for consolidation.
Okay,
Internet voting na they need to go somewhere? They need to be physically somewhere?
No,
What
no
is
po. They can use their phone,
okay.
but as part of the terms of reference, if they don't have the phone po, they can go to embassy. May mga laptop po
Hindi ba
doon.
physical na yun eh. So why make it why?
they
Option
can
lang po
vote from
yun.
their place of work or
Yes
wherever they
po.
happen to be?
Yes po, they can vote through their phone.
Why do
Or
they have to go pa to the embassy?
if in case po wala silang phone and napadalaw sila sa embassy, may kiosk lang pong i-set
For
up
internet
doon.
voting?
For the internet voting.
At the same time, that general area has a machine.
One laptop lang po for each post.
For the internet voting nga.
For the
But
internet
for the
voting.
physical voting, meron pang physical voting? Ano ba
Wala
ito?
po. No.
You will designate countries totally internet voting siya? Wala siyang machine? So you will,
Country yan?
paano yun? Paano yung sabi nyo, you need to re-register? You will force the
because
OFWs to re-register in the chosen country?
Because the OFWs are very confused. Saan sila sakop? Kasali ba sila dun sa internet voting o dun sa paper ballot? Parang litong-lito na lahat.
If it's a per country approach, they're forcing the OFWs to re-register. Kasi ang unang salita ni ma'am, they have to re-register. Pre or re?
Yeah, they have to pre-register.
Pre-register. It's just like, but yes, still, kailangan pa rin nila ng action. Kailangan pa rin ng action from the voter. So if you choose whole countries, force ang mga OFWs in that country to so-called pre-register, which is actually re-register. Diba? The pre-registration is just like filling up a voter's ano rin.
You can pre-register
enrolling.
online?
Yes po. Part of the online voting system is the enrollment for the voting, internet voting. They can use their phone.
Ang mas litong-lito na talaga rito yung mga seaman. Yung mga seaman, kapag nagpalaot, paano ba sila? Sakop rin sila nito? Online pre-registration on board?
Yes po. Using their phones.
And then because they belong to how come they are considered to have belonged to the country where internet voting is the requirement? Which is that country? Malabo to.
Just for 400 million.
we have estimated the contract to be worth 400 million, even though we have not yet chosen the countries. Kaya nga, I mean, hindi dependent yung cost in the area covered.
We already determined, Madam Chair, the countries where we are going to conduct internet voting, but there are about 8 countries where we cannot conduct. Of the 92 posts abroad, we have only about 8 countries where we cannot conduct internet voting.
So what's the plan? So 92 minus 8, yung 84 will have internet voting? That's the plan?
Yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
So magiging general rule na ng overseas voting is internet voting?
Hopefully, Madam Chair, yes. Sure.
If that's the case, Madam Chair, I think we need the law to authorize this. That has been my position from the very start, Madam Chair.
Yes, we're aware of that, and the chairman, of course, asserts the broad rulemaking power of the commission. But this has been a cause for great alarm among our OFWs, particularly the sea-based, kasi nalilito sila kung alin bayan sila sako at paano sila boboto.
Vote anywhere po kasi, Madam Chair, pagka seafarers. And we are going to intensify our campaign immediately after just in case makakapag-award po kami ng contract. Kasi po, doon namin pa finalize ang lahat. But we will definitely intensify. And our hope is really to announce to our overseas Filipinos, Madam Chair, if I may, during the 2022 election, we have only 1.697 million Filipinos registered. And of the 1.697, 40.59% voted, the highest in our history. So after pool 1, we have almost 600,000 delisted because of failure to vote in 2 consecutive elections. So 1 million na lang po yun natin. And hope po namin, by announcing the internet voting and proceeding with internet voting, we are hoping that sana po until September 30, makapagpataas tayo ng ating registration.
Well, that's the hope. But di ba, kapag may internet voting, doon sa bansang yon, ibig sabihin wala ng mail or personal voting. Paano yung mga lugar kung saan talaga dumadayo yung mga OFW natin sa konsulado, sa embassy, hindi na sila makakaboto doon. Baka mabawasan na naman.
So, Madam Chair, we're still going to put, kaya po may kiosk kami nalalagay pa rin.
So you mean to say, all 3 types of voting will be available in certain countries. Personal, mail, and internet. Whereas in other countries, purely internet or purely personal?
Internet, Madam Chair, and personal, especially kapag tama po, napunta sa embassy, gustong dun bumoto using the kiosk. We're going, because in the 110,000 machines that we are going to list to Miru, mga 300 po na machines doon ang kakailanganin namin for lumalagay sa mga embassies or consulate, and together with, of course, the internet voting.
Oh,
Minority Leader,
akala ko kasi pagka-internet voting, it's a whole country approach. So
yes, Madam Chair, Your Honor, yes.
What's the purpose of a machine?
Kasi nga po, as mentioned by the Honorable Chairperson, in the event that the voter, the Filipino overseas voter, do not want to use his cell phone or iPad or laptops, then there's always a kiosk in the embassy.
To cast the vote through internet voting.
Through internet, yes.
That's a laptop.
Yes.
That's not a Miro machine.
Yes.
Longer personal voting. That's still internet voting.
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair. That's internet voting.
But what are those 300 Miro machines? Are those laptops?
Because we have 17 countries, Madam Chair, and Your Honor, that will not allow. I correct myself. It's not 8. It's 17. It's 17 countries that does not allow internet voting.
When we say does not allow, Madam Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
When we say does not allow, their law does not allow their citizens to
Because
vote through internet.
There is a restriction, Madam Chair, Your
They
Honor.
do not allow anybody, foreigners, to cast a vote through internet. How do they know that nagvo-vote na yung Yung foreigner sa bansa nila. How do
Just
they know?
just like in China, Madam Chair, Your Honor, or in
How do they know?
How do they know it's
How do
not
they know na
Facebook?
pag-access ko ng email ko, I'm already voting?
kasi po, Madam Chair, Your Honor, because it's online, kaya they can control.
Hindi, yung mga China siguro may firewall.
Okay.
But
And-
I do not know sa iba. Ganun, may
Meron din po,
firewall,
Madam Chair. China and Israel, Madam Chair.
Firewall. So,
Du-
so parang decision na lang ng COMELEC yan na we would rather not have internet voting because of the technological barriers.
Consultation with the Department of Foreign Affairs, Madam Chair.
Decision
Your
na
Honor.
lang ninyo yun. It's not because by their law prohibits a a foreigner guest from using the internet to cast a vote. Di ba? Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Madam Chair, because of
Baka
Your Honor,
baka
because
yun po siguro it's not prohibited. It's sa decision na lang talaga ng COMELEC na sa 17. Pero medyo malabo pa rin, Madam Chair, kasi I do not know if it's this by country approach, hindi ko naintindihan eh. And then the re-registration, re-registration.
enrollment,
Enrollment,
Madam Chair.
which might also be a re-registration kasi it needs a positive act from the voter eh. Yan ang problem. And I'm sure yung information na kukunin nyo, baka parehas din sa registration form na napaka basic information po. So, that's a problem, Madam Chair. So, I do not know kasi sa 92 minus 17, di mga 75 countries, ang rule nila, when the country is chosen for internet, everybody will have to use the internet voting. So everybody needs to re-register or enroll. So baka yung 1 million natin, Mr. Chairman, baka bumaba pa even ano.
Kaya nga yun ang pangamba natin dahil we're embarking on this precisely to expand the franchise. Baka mabawasan
Tapos
pa nga
let us say hindi nakaboto ng one election yung isang OFW natin sa chosen country. Hindi ngayon siya naka-enroll, hindi siya nakaboto nung sa internet kasi chosen yung bansa. You will consider that as his failure, second failure to vote. Gusto naman siya, willing naman siyang bumoto, hindi lang nga siya naka-enroll kasi may deadline siguro yung enrollment.
Until even on election day, Madam Chair.
Okay. So you make it also convenient. So yun lang, but pero ang worry ko lang doon, it needs another act, a positive act from the already registered voter. That's the problem.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. We are going to seriously consider such a matter, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
April 2 na to lapit na to, bukas makalawa na lang to. Anyway, we also have some concerns about the procurement of the transmission systems. Ang dami yung kontratang binibid out Yung sa transmission systems, will you be using 4G modems na naman? Kasi do we expect that the IP addresses will be the same? Kasi naging point of controversy sa 2022 NLE yan. What is the plan for this transmission system in 2025? What are the prerequisites? What are the safeguards? Because we would like to avoid any controversy, di ba? Being repeated.
For the transmission po, based on the terms of reference, we provided only the options that can be used by the transmission provider, such as the SIM card, the VSAT, the SD1, the BGAN. There's no specific requirement that the COMELEC said that you should use this. These are
You're
just
saying,
options.
Okay, so of course they have a choice, but you'll be using 4G modems for the 2025. 4G na ba yan?
It's not indicated po if it is 4G, but it should be the latest.
Then my question
is
kasi is
available.
how do we avoid the whole controversy over the IP addresses? Baka maulit lang. Kasi di ba nag-effort tayo na hiwalayin yung transmission, i-unbundle. In-unbundle nga, pero magkakagulo pa rin sa IP address. Di ba magra-routing na naman to a single IP address. Eto na naman tayo. Paano ba yun?
Part of the terms of reference din po that each machine should have a unique IP address.
Is that the only safeguard we have?
Most of the security po will come from the Miro system because it will be the Miro who will transmit. So the files are encrypted, but on the transmission layer, meron po dong mga different layers of security rin.
Yes, I believe we conducted the hearing actually based on the resolution of the minority leader, during which it was proven that several security layers were really required. And now, are we going to be affecting those security layers in the procurement and the awarding of the 2025 NLE? Kasi
Yes.
ang binabanggit lang ninyo, basta hiwa-hiwala yung single IP address. But parang we heard that story before. Di naman nangyari.
Yes, ma'am. Yung pong layers of security will be from doon sa ACM and then doon sa files and then yung transmission po. May mga security layers din po doon.
We actually have on screen the TOR, right? Which is fairly vague and nebulous. They can choose, di ba? Ayun, basta they use a secure virtual private network. Sino magsasabi na secure yun? In what way is it secure?
The VPN po itself is secure because it is only a transmission in a closed circuit. So wala po siyang outside na network.
Pero hindi nakasabi dyan. Tapos sinasabi yung data centers, yung central server, eto na naman tayo sa usapin ng server. Paano ba yun? Para maiwasan yung multiple servers.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will eliminate the so-called transparency server. The machine will be sending directly to all the entities such as the PPCRB, NAMFREL, the majority party, minority party, as well as the kapisanan ng mga
Ilan server na naman yan? Kasi
Six po.
di ba 4+++?
six po. We are going
Tayo.
and we're going to provide for free these data centers to the these entities. So automatic po para nakasend to all sa kanila. And the DICT will have a mirror. Naka-mirror po sila doon sa central server namin.
Yeah, during past hearings, there was a suggestion na to be really transparent, the COMELEC should upload in its website real-time election returns per clustered precinct. Is that a possibility? Because that's a safeguard that would at least make us in the public far more secure of our votes.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will definitely do that. Likewise po, yung mga receipt, yung BBPAT, meron.
Yes, considering we're able to live stream almost any event in our lives these days,
Yes.
Surely we can do this also.
Yes, Madam Chair, we will do that. That's a commitment. Likewise po yung BBPAT namin, Madam Chair, merong QR code as per suggestion of NAMFREL. So immediately NAMFREL, PPCRB, or such other entities can access the QR code of each and every ballot or each and every BBPAT.
So this post facto, pwede ba itong live stream? Simultaneous, sabay. Just keep it online. Kasi yung QR pagkatapos pa yun. Gusto namin makita talaga yung bilangan, di ba?
Yes, Madam Chair, we are going to put that in the website as part of the terms of reference with the
If ever
transmission.
delay.
Yes.
Oo, pwede naman kasi
Madam Chair, sabi nga po nung isang citizens arm, sino mauna sa kanila, but we can include likewise
media kesa sa COMELEC, nauunang media kesa sa political party, nakakatawa naman tayo.
Yes, Madam Chair, we're going to do that. We're going to include that and so that our website will likewise contain the results in the 42,000 precincts.
Yes, the COMELEC has been extremely controversial these days, and the sense is that you have repeatedly flip-flopped regarding the possible simultaneous holding, eto naman tayo sa ibang topic, of the plebiscite and the 2025 NLE as well as the BSKE. At first, ang sabi ninyo, yung Oxenia versus COMELEC prohibits the plebiscite at the same time. Later on, sabi na allowed. What's the final word?
Madam Chair.
Is there a prohibition against the simultaneous holding of the plebiscite and the 2025 NLE or not?
When I was quoted, it was a personal opinion. I told that as far as this representation is concerned, I honestly believe that the plebiscite and the conduct of the national and local election should be done separately. But however, I likewise corrected myself. I said that it's up to Congress. We will definitely follow what Congress will say. If Congress will say that to conduct the plebiscite simultaneously with the national and local election, again, our commitment is we can do that, Madam Chair. We can proceed with the simultaneous conduct of the plebiscite. Mas makakamura po kasi ng 13 billion pesos ang bansa. And so, but however, we cannot conduct in the event po, halimbawa sabihin ng Congress separate, we cannot conduct the plebiscite in 2024 definitely.
Minority Leader, we went to another topic, which is the simultaneous holding of the plebiscite and the 2025 national and local election. Kasi there is a sense that the COMELEC has flip-flopped, alternately quoting Oxenia versus COMELEC, and we're a little bit perplexed as to where we stand today. Yes,
Yung ano ba, yung law, because I filed, Madam Chair, I filed actually a bill on improving the People's Initiative. At syempre, inaral namin yung existing. Hindi ba spirit of the law, Mr. Chairman, that the plebiscite to ratify the amendment to the Constitution must be called for that purpose? Isn't that the spirit?
That's my personal position.
Agree ka doon?
That's my personal position. But however, again, it's not with all due respect, pasensya na po, but it's not the commission that flip-flop. It's the chair which says that my initial impression was that really the plebiscite should be done separately with the national and local election because the people from the national, so because the people should be made aware of what is really being changed. However, again, Madam Chair, Your Honor, it's up to Congress.
Yes.
If Congress will say simultaneous, then COMELEC will implement.
But I am just informing our chair and everybody else. Yung bill ko, it's a plebiscite for that purpose. Okay, so if that becomes law, then yan yung magiging controlling. Sige po. Pwede po kong bumalik, Madam Chair, dun sa transmission nyo? Kasi,
yes, sorry.
Ganito, kasi ito si Mr. The Chairman can correct me kasi siya expert sa election law. Pero ang understanding ko kasi nun, and this is in the wording of the law, so unless we change the wording, we cannot change it. But the law requires 3 transmissions actually from the same machine, precisely to check the accuracy of our transmissions. Kaya nga may so-called transparency server na si transparency server, although it will not be 100% exactly the same results sa official server, at least the discrepancy wouldn't reach 5% or 3%. Malaki na yun na discrepancy. But a discrepancy of like in South Korea, 0.07, mga ganon. I mean, those are acceptable. Di ba yun ang spirit nun? And then when we say that one transmission only from a machine, and then there is some server which will distribute it to the 3, aren't we fooling ourselves? Therefore, perfect ngayon yung the 3 destination servers will be perfect because they're distributing the same information. But the idea is for the machines to send 3 times so that we are checking the results kung talaga bang accurate ang results.
Indeed, Your Honor, I would readily agree with you if that will be the reading of 9369. But however, for purposes of several providers such as the several telcos, there is a need for a telco exchange. So because po siyempre yung Globe, yung Smart o yung other telcos, hindi naman siya mag-share. So there is a need for a telco exchange. Ang amin po lang gagawin, Mr. Chair, is yung DICT naka-mirror sa telco exchange. And the telco exchange will be the one to send to all the entities that I mentioned, the KBP, the in the first place, Madam Chair, Your Honor, meron naman pong receipt, meron ng election returns by that time then.
From the point of view of the machine, the machine sends once. Yun na nga, I mean, ang interpretation ko sa law, the machine sends 3 times. And unless we change the wording of the law, we have to follow the law. So, I mean, hindi, what is the interpretation of the chairman? Ako, I will give the biggest weight to the interpretation of the chairman, Madam Chair, and to the audience as far as election law is concerned. Yan po ang foremost expert natin sa election law. What is your interpretation?
Yes, I will support your contention, Your Honor, your contention that it should only be one. But however, because of the different telcos, really, Mr. Chair, it cannot be done. From the technical point of view, directly sending to 3 to the different entities, it's difficult. It should really pass through that. But now we do not have we do not have anymore the transparency server. Direct na po. So
The server is not required by law.
yes,
Is it required by law? It's not required by law.
because it's not provided in the
Bakit tatlo? Manala ko tatlo pa rin. Why bakit tatlo?
ngayon po sa CCS, sa central server, at saka sa hindi yung tatlo. The transparency server before. The transparency server, the center server, and then the canvassing server. Ngayon po, 6 na.
Yeah, I know. 6 ang ultimate destination of the file. But the machine at the precinct transmits only
Yes, that
once.
transmits only once.
Yan na nga. So, parang nasira yung spirit na Madam Chair. Actually, ako na-appreciate ko yung spirit no na you send 3 times para ma-check natin yung yung accuracy ng election. Pero kahit na send once lang, yung data natin sa mga servers, hindi pa rin nagtugma 100%, From experience, Mr. Chair.
Nagtugma po, Mr.
100%.
Madam Chair, yes po.
So dapat naman kasi parang pinotocopy mo lang yung transmission eh. So dapat magkamukha lahat yun. But I think, Madam Chair, if we'll do some further research, if my staff and I will come to the conclusion that it's the law which requires the multiple transmissions at the precinct level, then I will have to urge the COMELEC to follow the law.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, we are quite concerned about this transmission also, given that it has given rise to so many questions in the past. And yes, we'd like to proceed with this other issue, which was the simultaneous holding of the plebiscite and the 2025, as mentioned earlier. And just to be clear, the plebiscite that the COMELEC has been mentioning, does it refer to the plebiscite for the PI or People's Initiative, or does it refer to the con-ask question?
The con-ask question, Madam Chair. There's no more issue as regards the PI plebiscite because, again, we permanently, in the meantime, suspended the People's Initiative.
Yes, I think there were so many questions as to what to do with all those signed forms. The COMELEC asserted that they would not destroy them or return them to their owners, but that they continue to have a life beyond the suspension of the PI. Is that still correct? What happens to all those signatures that were submitted?
All these signatures, Your Honor, are in the possession of the local COMELEC. Sa safekeeping lang po naman namin yon, Madam Chair.
Yes, but you did not deny that they could be used in the future, regardless of the fact that the PI was suspended, right?
Depende po, Madam Chair, sa magiging rules at because the interpretation may be that there is really no law. So how can there be an implementing rules and regulation on the part of the Commission? And
Yes,
that's why
the justices in fact chided the COMELEC for issuing a resolution when in fact there was no law, di ba?
yes, Madam Chair, that resolution was issued in 2020 and therefore the subject to review to determine indeed if it is right on the part of the commission to have issued such a resolution.
So as far as we're concerned, the plebiscite that is being mentioned is the CONAS.
That's right, Mr.
So,
Madam Chair.
isang tabi muna yung PI na discussion na yan. Klaro tayo dyan. So, if the plebiscite and the national elections are held simultaneously, is that a single ballot? Like Minority Leader mentioned earlier.
Yes, Madam Chair. We already prepared a sample of the ballot containing at least 3 questions, which will be at the front portion of the ballot
Tapos,
before the senators. The question will be, there will be a question and then yes or no. And our system, our machine can likewise read that before reading the votes for the senators down to the last council and the party list.
printing.
Printing will happen second week of January
Second week of
2025.
January.
Yes, Madam
So,
Chair.
what if the amendments proposed by the CONAS are finalized or certified after the printing?
In the event, in that event, Madam Chair, then we will have to order a reprint of the ballot. We will have to set aside.
Have to reprint the ballots, hindi na mahahabol yan. Mas magkakaproblema na naman sa OFW, hindi aabot ang balota.
Kasi po, Madam Chair, kung isasama po siya sa national and local, then kung ang solusyon na lang po, separate ballot na lang po para sa plebiscite.
Kahabol pa ba yun kung marireprint? Kung hindi mahabol?
Pag po mga hanggang December.
Just the second week of January
Yes,
is the
Madam.
printing.
Yes, Madam
So
Chair.
the text that you can receive the plebiscite question is when?
December, Madam Chair. Hanggang December 15 po, Madam Chair.
So that's that needs to be in before our Christmas break. Any comments from the minority?
Parang kandidato din. Diba? Yun yung last day yata ng substitution. Opo. So anyway, at any rate, Madam Chair, yung aking bill nga, I also put the validity ng signature. My lifetime si signature, my lifetime. So the date of the first signature must be alleged and indicated, tapos lifetime na nung signature campaign. Pero ang advice ko na lang sa COMELEC, since you'll be accountable for all of these papers with signatures, and then our position is there is no law or there's no sufficient law, ibalik sa whoever gave it to you para ma-release na po kayo sa responsibility to safekeep the documents.
Yes, Madam Chair. Your Honor, yun nga po yung gusto namin. Ang kumuha lang po kasi sa hamtik, sa antike, isa pa lang hanggang ngayon.
Anyway, dapat may kasi is this an admission that the COMELEC does not even know who gave them the documents?
No, we know, Mr. Chair, because we issue the certification.
That's why.
Yes,
May
we issue the
may name and address.
Meron po, Madam.
Solid.
In fact, Madam Chair, Your Honor, we are actually announcing for them to get para naman po hindi magsikip sa komisyon. Basta balik nila sa amin yung certification na in-issue namin.
Kasi kung ma-misplace din, mawala, mag-i-issue pa sila sa COMELEC na kakasuhan pa yung mga COMELEC people natin for safekeeping something na there is no rule or law governing what to do with this.
That's correct. As well as the issue of certain signatories who wanted to withdraw their signatures and yet they don't have the forms available anymore.
We actually, Madam Chair, 1.5 months ago, we came up with a form for the withdrawal.
Pwedeng withdrawin.
We actually announced that and
Kasi hindi alam ng tao
yes, Madam Chair. So we are public now saying that those who submitted to us the signature sheets, they are free to get the signature sheets from us. Our offices are open from Monday even up to Saturday. We have an ongoing registration. Basta po, surrender po sa amin yung certification na in-issue ng mga local COMELEC natin. And at the same time to our people who signed the signature sheets, available to all COMELEC, sa lahat po ng COMELEC offices namin ang signature form. And no need to write or state the reason for withdrawal.
Narinig natin lahat yan loud and clear from Chairman Garcia po.
Another point.
Yes,
What's the current law regarding the BARM elections? Kailan ba siya sabay sa...
Yes, Madam, actually that's a very problematic matter because, Madam Chair, we are going to have two ballots in the Bangsamoro.
Two ballots na lang.
One is for the national and local, and the other one is the ballots for the parliamentary election, as well as the election for the political parties. Yun po yun. So dalawa po ang mangyayari.
Yes, and then same machine, ano na lang, configure na lang
Yes,
siya.
yes, Your Honor.
That has been taken into account when Miro quoted the
Yes.
contract price.
Yes po. Ang isa pang problem lang po namin, Madam Chair, Your Honor, nagkaroon po kasi ng redistricting sa Bangsamoro. Kapapasa lang po nila last week ng redistricting, and it would appear that there are certain municipalities originally included in this legislative district which were transferred to. So medyo malaki rin pong problem namin, Madam Chair, Your Honor.
Paano yan? Parang ang gulo ng redistricting na yan, nakakatakot
Kasi
yata.
po, ang problem po natin, Madam Chair, yung mga botante na bumoboto sila for congressman dito, and pagkatapos ngayon, Madam Chair, pero hindi sila boboto dito for purposes of the parliamentary district. Attorney Ona, who actually her group helped in the drafting of the code, as well as, alam po nila ang problem ng Lente, ang problem dito sa Bangsamoro.
Matagal na niyong pinoproblema yung barm election na yan, di ba? Sige, so will the voting for the plebiscite be automated kasama sa same ballot,
Yes,
di ba?
yes, Madam Chair.
So it will be the same vote counting machine for NLE and the plebiscite. So doesn't it require modification of the election management system? Kasi may +1 question or whatever it will
Wala
be.
naman po. Parang candidate lang po kasi yung mga questions na yan.
Program itong vote counting setup.
December, Madam Chair, and that's why yung timelines po namin, 6 months manufacturing of the machine.
Con as proposals, malate. Kasi wala na tayong panahon mag-reconfigure ng machine.
Ang problem po, hindi naman po yung reconfiguration, Madam Chair, ng machine, kung hindi yung pong template ng balota po.
Template ng balota, tama. Kasi nga hahabulin ninyo talaga yung second week of January.
Chair.
Well, not last, but for today, another burning issue is the change or alleged change in the rules with regard to campaign material and the election campaign. So the effort of COMELEC to ban premature campaigning is laudable. However, the law defines partisan political activity as acts designed to promote the election or defeat of a candidate. Peñera versus COMELEC and Section 11 of 8436 as amended by 9369 clearly dictate that the person who files his candidacy will be considered a candidate only at the very beginning, at the start of the campaign period. So how does the COMELEC reconcile the proposed ban on premature campaigning in Section 118436 and Peñera? Kasi dati, prior to the campaign period, how can there be partisan activity when by express provision of law, there is no candidate yet? Is it not the very definition of partisan political activity that there should first be a candidate whose election is being promoted by such activity? Kasi nalilito tayo talaga ba upon filing or during election campaign period? Kailan ba bawal?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. As far as the COMELEC is concerned, we already tested that during the barangay and SK elections. We declared that upon the date of the filing of the candidacies of these candidates, they are now considered candidates. Hence, bawal po ang premature campaigning. Now, nobody went to the Supreme Court questioning the action of the Commission. In-impose po namin, in-implement natin, kaya po naging napakaayos yung pong nag-conduct namin ng halalan. Malinis, na wala po nakapag-premature campaign. Kung meron po 7,000 individuals were charged by the Commission election, we did not proclaim 253 winning candidates because of the pending cases. Now, dito po sa national and local election,
ang PSKE very clearly is not covered by RA 8936, no?
yes, Madam Chair.
Laktaw siya sa coverage niyan,
That's
kaya
right.
hindi natin pwedeng sabihin applicable, di ba?
That's right, Madam Chair. That's why, for purposes of the filing of the candidacy, for purposes of the filing of the candidacy for the national and local election of 2025, the COMELEC is now contemplating as to whether we will impose the same guidelines that they will be considered candidates upon the date of the filing of the candidacy. Justice Carpio, in his ponencia in the case of Peñera versus COMELEC, actually said that it's actually the performance of a partisan political activity that makes a person a candidate. And so if you're not doing anything, then you are not technically not a candidate. But if you will do something like, for example, going around distributing something, that's already partisan political activity, and therefore technically you are already a candidate. I think that can be the interpretation, although we are still, again, Madam Chair, Your Honor, studying our option.
Yes, there are concerns, of course, that the opposite is true, that while the law allows COMELEC to fix the election period, the campaign period is already fixed. So if the COMELEC plans to push through, the election period will start on October 1. The campaign period will still be on the second week of February. Tama po ba?
Yes, Madam Chair, that's what is provided under the Omnibus Election Code. The code said that the election period can be 120 days before the election, except as may be fixed by or provided for by the commission. So we can declare that from October 1, from the date of the filing of the candidacy, from October 1 to 8, that's already the start of the election period. But
So
however,
election period prohibitions will apply as early as the first week of October. Is that correct?
that will be the implication, Madam
Yes.
Chair, yes.
RA 9006, movies portraying the life of a candidate or movies portrayed by an actor who is a candidate, they're banned in the election period. So will this ban start on October 1, but before the beginning of the campaign period in mid-February? But these movies will still be allowed, movies, TV shows, radio, and so on.
Madam Chair, as far as the COMELEC is, if in the event that we will decide that they are candidate, that the election period should be moved to first week of October, all the bans as provided in the Omnibus Election Code will now take effect. Even the putting of checkpoints will already be there by October.
October.
Yes, Madam Chair.
So that is your preference in order to prevent premature campaigning.
Yes.
That's the direction of the COMELEC.
Definitely, Madam Chair.
So we're fully aware that a lot of TV, movie, and other celebrities are going to be running. It's likely that they will have TV shows and similar programs. Can they still continue hosting said shows and similar programs during the election period, but before the campaign period from October to mid-February?
No, Madam Chair.
Cannot continue hosting, even if it's their profession.
They're already candidates by that time, Madam Chair.
It's not. How about the candidates who are media and TV personalities? They will be compelled to resign as such?
That's the rule, Madam Chair, during the period of the election period, during the campaign period.
We herewith recognize Senator Ontiveros, and this appears to be contrary to RA 9006, considering these candidates having been resigned only upon the start of the campaign period.
We are willing and to defend our position, Madam Chair. That's why we are seriously studying such an option.
This is a major change between the October 1 and the mid-February. Pagbabawalan mo lahat ng artista.
And the extended period is even longer than the actual campaign. October, November, December, January, February, 5 months. Ano?
Kasi, 2 months versus the 3 weeks,
yeah.
The few months.
So, I don't know if this will be an overkill, Madam Chair. Baka pagkatapos yung taong nakafile na ng certificate of candidacy, baka yung pag mag-handshaking siya, baka ano pa rin. Handshaking lang po yun. Kailangan gawin yun.
Nirereklamo kayo ng lahat ng artista. Hanap buhay nila talaga yan.
The reason, Madam Chair, is because masisisi po kasi yung COMELEC. Try to imagine, Madam Chair, from October, November, December, January, and February to the second week of February, we cannot do anything. the COMELEC will just be an observer or perhaps just a fence sitter. We cannot really do, and we cannot implement election law simply because how can you do that when there are no candidates yet? And candidates there will only be candidates 90 days before the election and 45 days, or in the case of national position, and 45 days in the case of local positions. And ang amin na
It's a big jump from 90 days to 4.5 plus 90 days. Yes.
Is there
Pagdinig.
no draft bill from the COMELEC legal or think tank on how we can change the law so that mayroon tayong, we are not only invoking the general grant of power to the COMELEC but a specific we can attempt to pass it para we capture the spirit.
Madam Chair, Your Honor, it's really just amending Section 11 of Republic Act 8436 and as amended by Section 15 of 9369. If we can just do that, then
Still have RA 9006, di ba?
yes, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
And of course, the Pinera case.
With the future.
Can
There's
you not,
also
can,
another-
cannot the chairman give that as an assignment to the legal department to come up with
Yes, Your Honor, we will.
one section which draft section which
Yes.
captures the 3 laws and 1 decision
Yes, Your Honor, we will do that. We can immediately draft.
so that
the bill.
you do your own thing, we also do our own thing na baka makapture din namin in an amendment to the laws.
Teka, there's also a loophole, I think, because December 15 is the cutoff for substitution.
Substitution.
So between October 1 and December 15, he's not a candidate and he can carry on campaigning or doing whatever he did before and will not be cited for premature campaigning. Is that correct?
That's our position really, Madam Chair, is that that cannot and should not happen. How can there be substitution?
So substitution, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. How can there be substitution if they are not yet candidates in the first place? So there is something wrong with that provision of law, Section 11 of 8436 and Section 15 of 9369. Substitution can only be had if somebody officially and formally and legally filed his candidacy. So how can there be substitution up to December 15 if there is no candidate yet and candidates will only be there by February or March, as the case may be?
Yeah, pero I'm talking about the October to the December 15. Hindi pa siya nag-substitute.
Madam
Ayun.
Chair.
So, he gets an extra leg up of 2.5 months, ganon. It's encouraging everybody to substitute na lang. Ito yan eh. Oo, usong-uso yan sa Ilocos, nakakatipid ka ng 2.5 buwan. Para hindi ka lalapitan ng mayor at guguluhin ng barangay kapitan. Uso po sa amin yan.
That period, Mr. Chairman, is by law or just by COMELEC regulation? That period, that we file October 1 to 8 and then you can be substituted up to December 15. Is that period provided by law or just the
COMELEC can fix the period for the substitution.
in that period, right?
Yes, Madam Chair.
That's what I understand, Madam Chair.
The other thing is, what will be the criteria in determining whether a particular movie, where a candidate is an actor, or a TV show where the host is a candidate, what are the criteria to determine that it's actually premature campaigning? Some of the shows are just fun and entertainment, and they have no bearing on politics at all. What are your thoughts?
Madam Chair, when you appear on television except news or in the movie, then that is campaigning. Campaigning is
So come again?
that's campaigning, Madam Chair. If except if you are in the news because of the very nature
No,
of your
not referring to news po. I
Yes
mean,
po.
it's
the
just
movies po, movies.
movies or even TV shows. Katuwaan lang naman. Wala namang politikang pinag-usapan. Puro sa kasiyahan, kalokohan, games, ganon.
That's campaigning, Madam Chair. Para din po yan sa ano po, sa social media. Kasi po kung ang argument, Madam Chair, ay hindi naman sila nagka-campaign, what's the purpose of you appearing even sa social media? Sa social media, Madam Chair, yung mga TikTok, yung mga ganyan, that's campaigning. That's trying to promote yourself.
Sayo lang.
That's trying to promote yourself, Madam Chair.
Okay. I just like to wind up because we're very close to finishing. Sorry, but on the same topic na lang, no? The Supreme Court kasi held in the Diocese of Bacolod versus Comelec that expressions which are principally advocacies of a social cause and not of any political nature cannot be regulated by Comelec. So can Comelec set forth guidelines as to what materials made by non-candidates and posted in private property are outside the COMELEC's jurisdiction? Nakailang beses na yan na yung ating mga TARP billboard sa private property, sinisita ng COMELEC, pero private property naman siya. And many of the same were made by non-candidates and placed in their own property. Paano ba yun? Will the tarpaulin be subject to the size limitations of COMELEC or not?
Madam Chair, in the most recent election, which is the barangay and SK, because of the most recent also decision affirming the Diocese of Bacolod versus Comelec, St. Anthony versus Comelec, the Comelec did not touch election paraphernalia in private properties. We respected the decision of the Supreme Court simply because according to the Supreme Court, that's freedom of expression. What we remove solely, Madam Chair, Your Honors, are election materials in public places.
So kapag sinabing vote for, kahit nasa private property, walang karapatan ang COMELEC magtanggal?
It would appear so.
Kahit may iboto si.
It would appear so, Madam Chair, simply because it's private property.
No matter the size. So pag private property na sa location wise, hindi niyo napapakialaman, but even sa size limit, hindi rin.
The Supreme Court, Madam Chair, Your Honors, in the Diocese of Bacolod, the larger the better. In fact, because it's part of the freedom of expression, according to the Supreme Court.
If it's that, if the decision is that clear, I mean, hands off na talaga ang COMELEC as long as private property.
Yes, Madam Chair.
So ang mga vacant lots along national highways na titled, so pwede nang lagyan nila.
Provided with the consent of the private
Yes,
owner.
yes. Upon the initiative of the owner.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay.
The billboards will have the same application?
Well, as far as the billboards are concerned, subject
Kasi
to
the property, we know that all the most in-demand EDSA billboards, for example, are run very profitably by private individuals and corporations. Can they put anything on them?
sa regulations ng local government unit ang mga billboards, and
Yeah,
so
presumably they already comply with the LGU kasi ang tagal-tagal na nakaset up ng mga billboard. So ibig sabihin locked out din yan, hindi rin yan sakop ng COMELEC.
as far as the COMELEC is concerned, we will ask the removal of the billboards.
Pero if they don't remove it, sasabihin na private property, pwede lang kabitan ng maski ano.
We'll charge them, Madam Chair. We will issue show cause orders for them to explain.
Property, okay.
Tama po, Madam Chair, pero in the case po ng
Pero yung billboard, private property.
but regulated, likewise, they will have to secure
Kasi
regulations.
building ngayon, may mga billboard, may mga wrap-around building pa, kung ano-ano na i-invento eh. Paano yun?
Because the very intent, Madam Chair, is to give equal opportunity to all the candidates. Meaning, if the COMELEC will close its
Draw the line between Diocese of Bacolod and COMELEC restrictions.
so long as the private property, Madam Chair, is not subject to any regulation by the government, then that's an absolute matter which the COMELEC cannot regulate using our powers.
So if he wraps his seven-story building with posters or giant tarpaulin on 4 sides, COMELEC will do nothing.
The COMELEC will issue the show cause order and ask the
Pag private property, okay lang.
yes, Madam Chair. Pero pwede po kasi namin magamit, Madam Chair, yung power of the COMELEC to ensure equal opportunity for all. Nasa amin naman po yun, madami ng beses na sinabi rin ng Korte Suprema din po yun, Madam Chair. Because otherwise po, lahat na lang po ng buildings dyan na nandyan sa may kahabaan ng EDSA, naka-wrapped around po ng lahat. Then in that case, what for is the issuance of the order that they are now considered candidates? Pero sa mga ibang private properties po. Yes, madam. That's the one.
Yata, kapag building, pwedeng show cause. Pero kung private property, halabira. Paano ba yun?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Parehong private property yan. Talaga magkakaaway lang kayo niyan.
We will fine tune the regulation before, because the first thing that we will have to decide really, Madam Chair, is whether or not candidates will be considered or deemed candidates upon the date of the filing of the card. That's the most important thing, because that everything will have to start from such a declaration. Because if indeed after our study that we will have to stick with the provision of the law that there are candidates only 90 days and 45 days, then in which case, Madam Chair, the COMELEC's power will be limited likewise.
I had a few other questions about the lack of any funding for the 2025 BSKE under the 2024 GAA, as well as mall voting, which has been quite controversial. But perhaps Senator Ontiveros would like to bolt in,
Thank
having
you.
just delivered a privileged speech last night.
Agyamanak, Madam Chair, and I apologize for being late for our hearing coming from the Commission on Appointments plenary. I understand questions have started to be raised about the VCM contract awarded to Miru System. So I'd just like to follow up on that. Is the Commission aware that St. Timothy Construction Corporation, which is part of the joint venture with Miru, that St. Timothy shares the same principal office address and corporate officers with an entity, yes, blacklisted by the DPWH?
This is a concern because St. Timothy earlier apparently sent a representative, but she thereafter disappeared. And we were left with Mr. Hernani Lim, who says that he represents the joint venture but has no no signed paper or document to present. As a result, the minority leader earlier suggested that they be subpoenaed.
I would second that, Madam Chair, if converted into a motion. So may I, though, request a response from the COMELEC chair if COMELEC is aware about this blacklisting of St. Timothy, or rather blacklisting of another entity with which St. Timothy shares offices and officers, blacklisting by the DPWH.
Madam Chair, with although this representation already explained earlier, what was submitted to us, these documents will be the ones to be verified by COMELEC. So as far as St. Gerald is concerned, Madam Chair, it did not appear in any of the documents submitted to the COMELEC. What appeared was only St. Timothy and the other two JV partners of St. Timothy.
Yes, Madam Chair, those being integrated computer systems and Centerpoint Solutions technologies. There are also reports that St. Timothy revoked the authority previously granted to Jinbok Chung, whom I see here, to contract with the COMELEC. So has the Commission received a letter or any other communication to this effect?
Madam Chair, yes, we received the letter on the day that we were supposed to sign. We were signing the contract, and but the letter did not even show the ID number and the verification part. So it's of dubious character. However, we confronted the representatives because there were representatives of St. Timothy during the signing, ably represented by its counsel, the former DICT Secretary Manny Gaintik. And we asked them if we are going to, and they said, proceed with the signing of the contract, Madam. They were there. They were there during the signing, and the letter was sent by email only, Madam Chair. So we proceeded with the signing of the contract, there being no objection whatsoever from St. Timothy.
So it's the understanding of the Commission that Mr. Chung Jinbok is still authorized by St. Timothy to contract with the COMELEC.
Yes, Madam Chair, that's true.
Salamat, Chair. Now, during post-qualification, the phase of the competitive bidding process in which the winning bid is validated to ensure that it meets the requirements in the bid documents, COMELEC Commissioner Marlon Casquejo admitted that the ACM being presented was a prototype, a combination of two election systems distributed by Miru, a paper-based optically read system and a direct recording electronic system. So, prototype nga po ba itong automated counter machines?
Yes, Madam Chair. Sapagkat po yung Republic Act 9369 provides that the machines that we're going to use, the system must have been used. There must be prior use in other jurisdictions. Ang matagal na po na interpretation ng COMELEC kahit pa nung provider namin, ang pinag-uusapan po yung system, Madam Chair, hindi po yung machine. Because po, Madam Chair, kaya po prototype dahil po lahat ng ideas na kung ano yung features na machine na gusto po namin ay galing po sa commission, therefore not tailor-fitted doon po sa machine na meron sila o kung sino man po ang meron. Ito po galing sa atin and therefore they have to really prepare a prototype because they cannot prepare yet the 110,000 machines, Madam Chair.
That's what I really want to get to, Madam Chair. So indeed, separately, these two systems have been used in elections elsewhere. However, has the combined system ever been deployed in any election?
I am not aware, Madam Chair, but as far as each system is concerned, nagamit na po natin yung OMR. Before we also used DRE in Maguindanao. And so yung combination po, Madam Chair, of these two systems, I'm not aware yet. I'm not aware of any jurisdiction that had used such.
Salamat, Madam Chair. And that's quite authoritative. As far as I know also, as far as our research has shown so far, hindi pa na-deploy sa anumang election yung combined system. Does Section 12 of the Automated Election Law prohibit the use of such prototype ACMs in connection with the 2025 elections? Before the good chair answers, Madam Chair, could I ask the resource person from Miru if such a combined system of the two systems, has it ever been deployed in any election elsewhere before?
그 OMR하고 DRE는 전 세계적으로 많이 쓰는 선거 시스템인데 동시에 같이 하는 경우는 선거는 어차피 한 번 정해지면은 선택하게 돼 있고 우리 장비는 두 개를 다 프로바이드 하는 장비고 두 선거를 동시에 쓰는 것은 이번에 러시아에서 처음 수행되는 걸로 알고 있다. 네.
Yes, Madam Chair. We understand the OMR and DRE have been widely used in the globe. However, for simultaneous use of both OMR and DRE, as we understand, only Russia has been doing this recently.
Thank you for that information, Madam Chair, Mr. Chung and Mr. Lee. And what is the track record of such combined system machines in Russia? Because we researched that there have been problems with the individual machines in, for example, Iraq and Congo. So what's the track record in Russia, sir?
러시아의 경우는 기계가 하나가 하는 게 아니고 그 보터가 들어오면은 DRE 할 것인가 저기 뭐 할 것인가
기억이 어떻게 돼? 러시아.
우리 기록은 그러니까 러시아를 설명해야지. 지금 이게 선택하는 거지 기계가 하나가 되는 기계는 아직은 없다. 우리가 선택할 수 있는 기계를 두 개 따로 가지고 있다는 거죠. 네.
For your information, Madam Chair, in Russia, when a voter goes into the voter booth, the voter can choose either to select the DRE or the OMR.
그리고 이라크 경우에는 콩고는 DR이, 이라크는 스캔 방식, OMR 방식을 쓰고 있고, 우리가 러시아에는 OMR 방식을 납품했다.
And to further provide some information regarding Congo, we provided the DRE systems. For Iraq, we provided the OMR system, and for Russia, also the OMR.
Thank you for that additional information, Madam Chair and Mr. Lee and Chung. But I'm really interested in the combined technology machine. So in Russia, such machines are used or were used recently, you said, but the voter can select which system to be used. Has that kind of machine been used in Russia for like one electoral exercise, but some questions will be answered by one system and another set of questions will be answered by another technology, but on the same machine? Or the voter uses only one technology or the other?
As far as our understanding, in Russia, it has been recently used, the OMR and DRE, this past elections.
Yes, but can the voter go in? Is the election designed so that the voter will answer one question, for example, using OMR, and another question using DRE? Or they answer all their questions with just one choice of their technology?
So, Madam Chair, the voter can go into the voter booth and select to use either the OMR or DRE. And with the selected device, that will be the final device for the vote.
For any and all votes cast or questions answered on the ballot?
Yes, using one or the other, not both.
Thank you for that's very clear. And is that the same machine, that machine used in Russia? Is that what is here now for our use? Is that the same? Is the prototype machine here the same as that machine used recently in Russia?
No, because each country has their own requirements which we need to customize for. So it's different then. But of course, we use the scanner type there for the OMR.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, to the resource persons from Miru. Do I have time for any more questions, or I could suspend till the next hearing, Madam Chair?
Yes, I think we'll be compelled to suspend until the next hearing, and we are grateful for the COMELEC, particularly for having postponed their Bukidnon trip, for bringing over all their demonstration machines from Miru and the rest, and our good minority leader. At this juncture, the concern is with St. Timothy. If we convert into a motion, the need to call for St. Timothy already manifested earlier by our minority leader Pimentel. Yes.
Yes, Madam Chair. Following up on the manifestation of the minority leader, I respectfully move for the chair to subpoena the presence of the resource persons from St. Timothy. I so move, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you very much. And with that, there's a motion to subpoena. There being no objections, I think we herewith order the committee secretary to issue the same at the earliest possible juncture and to serve the said subpoena. And we also require, therefore, that there will be another hearing following this, there being some questions remaining. Just to give a heads up to our overburdened COMELEC commissioners, please, firstly, the issue of the lack of budget for BSKE 2025 and the controversy swirling around the mall voting, which on its face look more convenient, but have also arisen to a number of overcrowding and other problems.
Madam
So,
Chair.
yes, our Senator Risa, please.
Gyamanak, Madam Chair. In addition to those, I also will have next time some additional questions on the VCM contract awarded to Miru Systems and also on the Chacha plebiscite simultaneous with the 2025 elections.
Yes,
Gyamanak,
we
Madam Chair.
discussed the Chacha plebiscite actually, and also certain aspects of the internet contract that's supposed to be bidded out, as well as the transmission contracts. Maraming kontrata eh. Sunod-sunod eh. So we really need to get in on the act. So thank you very much to everyone. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's been enlightening. Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Very much po, Madam Chair, Your Honor. Maraming salamat po for the opportunity.
Maraming salamat. At sa lahat ng hindi nagtanghalian, siguro naman may tanghalian ng Senate. Sige po, violation ng human rights na yan. Iba na naman na problema natin ito. Maraming salamat.